on the fall, red leaves seem to glow. Hunting and fishing in the river's flow. Mountains climbing, steady stride. Radio signals worldwide. Dysfunctional vet of combat past. In the granite state, standing fast. Parks and summits, he does greet. Talking with the world from 4,000 feet. Dysfunctional vet of combat past. In the granite state, standing fast. Parks and summits, he does greet. Talking with the world from 4,000 feet. He's the Grouch of New Hampshire, strong, flying high where he belongs. With passion for the outdoors free, that's the way it's meant to be. His spirit roams the hills so tall. In the woods he finds his call. Fishing lines and hiking boots, nature's anthem he salutes. He'll be running to skydive. Warrior wants to fly so high. Trials don't deter his will. He's the Grouch and climbing still. He's the Grouch of New Hampshire, strong, flying high where he belongs. With passion for the outdoors free, that's the way it's meant to be. He's the Grouch of New Hampshire, strong, flying high where he belongs. With passion for the outdoors free, that's the way it's meant to be. Trail climbing, screaming roofs, rocks grinding. Sweat drips, sky's the limit, eyes fixed, summits calling. Granite giants hold the sky, ridges cutting through the night. Breathe in the wild whispering. Boots hit the dirt, trail climbing, screaming roofs, rocks grinding. Sweat drips, sky's the limit, eyes fixed, summits calling. Granite giants hold the sky, ridges cutting through the night. Breathe in the wild whispering, tales from peak storm kissing. Granite giants hold the sky, ridges cutting through the night. Breathe in the wild whispering, tales from peak storm kissing. Hands reach clouds, we're flying. Heartbeat drums, no denying. 4,000 feet up, no lying. New Hampshire's on the horizon. Eagles soar above the pines, echoes of 1,000 climbs. Jagged paths are rough and wild, lost and found like a child. Mountain winds have us flying, strength through ever climbing. Mist creeps like ancient lore, tales of those who came before. Every step a song worth singing, every peak of freedom ringing. Nature's roar will keep bringing to the tops where souls are winging. Hands reach clouds, we're flying. Heartbeat drums, no denying. 4,000 feet up, no lying. New Hampshire's on horizon. Eagles soar above the pines, echoes of 1,000 climbs. Jagged paths are rough and wild, lost and found like a child. Mountain winds have us flying, strength through ever climbing. This creeps like ancient lore, tales of those who came before. Every step a song worth singing, every peak of freedom ringing. Nature's roar will keep bringing to the tops where souls are winging.
Hey, all right. Hope everybody enjoyed the new Grouch anthem.
Nice job, man.
Awesome.
Someone's got a little bit of
that was all
bankroll
AI. Well, hey, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Great to see Chris and a few others in there. K0, Brian, Walt, and Lee. Always great to have everybody in the chat. And Flag and Torch already did something stupid, and they had a message banned.
Oh boy.
Well, all right, Eric. Thanks for joining me and running all the giveaway stuff in the background for me. Much appreciated.
No problem, my friend. No problem. Anytime.
Mike, good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Honestly, you know what? My channel is literally blown up over the last like 4 or 5 months, and I owe a great deal of that to everybody else that's in the ham tuber community, because everybody is super welcoming and super supportive. And like I'll put a video up, or I'll say, hey, I've got this video, what do you guys think? And you guys give me honest feedback, and then I'll go back to the drawing board.
Yeah. That's how hams are, though. What do they say? Like, if you get lost in the woods, just ask an antenna question and there'll be half a dozen hams with 2 dozen answers.
Oh, for sure.
It always depends, man. It always depends.
Mm-hmm.
Steven, thanks for joining us tonight.
Not a problem. Glad to be here.
A little different than a Weekend Warriors recording.
Probably will be.
Oh, I don't know. We can ham it up.
And Kermit, also thank you. If you want to tell everybody who you are and how you came to be on the channel tonight, that'd be helpful.
Happy to. I'm the new guy, and it's a pleasure, honor to be here. I saw Paul on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I'm in the Navy in the reserves as a chaplain, and I was in a hotel room, and I was like, hey, he's doing a giveaway. And by the way, 2,000 subs is a very big deal. So congratulations to you for reaching that. And I got into ham radio literally a year ago today. And funny story on that one, can tell it later perhaps, and started writing some children's books about a decade ago on preparedness. And my buddy trying to get me back into the game. And he was like, when are you writing the ham radio book for Prepper Pete and Friends? And I was like, well, I guess I should get my license first. So I went down that route. But Radio Rick Relays Relief, I published that back in October this year. So just a smidge ago. And then for tonight's giveaway, also Survival of Sam Saves the Day, which will not be released until December 12th. So it's an advanced reader copy. And, see what we can do with that. But fun times.
Nice.
Other than that, just an honor and happy to be here.
All right. Well, hey, what's everybody been doing this week? I've been literally nonstop YouTube. It feels like with a slight break for Thanksgiving.
Maybe. Did you just trip over it on the way by?
I made a turkey and I ate it and it was good. And then I was back to YouTube. So,
back to YouTube.
Fried, baked, or smoked?
I roast in the oven. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It had to be different, didn't you?
Fried.
Well, so hear me out, right? The easiest, simplest way is you take the turkey and you prep it and you get it in the pan. I use old Budweiser beer cans that I've crushed to keep the turkey off the bottom of the pan.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mix up a cup of broth and I pour it inside the turkey, put the cover on, throw it in the oven, and then every like 90 minutes or so, put a fresh coat of basting on the skin so it comes out nice and crisp. Works every time.
Nice. I haven't done a turkey in a long time, man. The last one I did was spatchcocking on the barbecue there. I did a slow and low there for quite a while, and that was an experience. But it wasn't during Thanksgiving, so thank God, the family wasn't all sitting around the table waiting.
I've smoked them a few times, and they've been fantastic. It might not look as pretty, but it's like they've been absolutely fantastic. It takes a little bit longer, but I jokingly say, like, whenever I'm like, if I'm grilling or smoking and stuff like that, it keeps me out of the house away from everyone. So yeah,
You're right. Exactly. Just make
We're-
sure your beer supply is good.
We're traditional roasters, kind of with Paul, but we a couple of years ago we started using the bags, roasting bags, and it's self-propels it. But 2 years ago, a buddy of mine introduced me to fried turkeys, and once you go that route, you can't go back. You inject it; it's injected with a Cajun butter, and so we actually do both now because we usually have like 20 to 40 people at the house when we do
Wow.
Thanksgiving.
That's big.
And yeah, this year we had 3 turkeys, so it was quite the Thanksgiving.
3.
But,
You must have an army for a family.
well, so Navy, it's close, but normally I'm used to having like a bunch of single Marines or single sailors over, and so my wife will seat anywhere between 40 and 60 people on a given Thanksgiving. This one was kind of light, much less than that, but everybody wanted plenty of leftovers this year, so we just went ahead and went the normal route. So it worked out really good.
Nice.
So,
That's
good
awesome.
times.
What about you, Steven?
My brother is a part-time chef, so he went to school to be culinary and then changed career paths. But so he does all the cooking and he fries, and so everybody brings a turkey over. He'll fry up what we eat, and then him and Dad go out and fry up all the others, and then we take fried turkeys home and eat for the rest of the month.
For sure. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm already a little turkeyed out. I don't know. I've had turkey for lunch and dinner for the last couple days.
and now the soup's gonna come next, right?
Turkey wild rice stew, turkey soup. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta put it. I know I mentioned I was over at my in-laws this year for Thanksgiving, but there were a couple years especially like during COVID and stuff, where it was just us and we were smoking out the turkeys. I gotta say, if you take a smoked turkey, you take that carcass and then you make like the turkey soup after, that smoke flavor carries forward. And like it's like the best. Like anytime I smoke a chicken or a turkey, like the soup that follows that is just fun. Like it's amazing, the nose on it.
That's crazy how much smoke flavor there's in that stuff. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and a lot of times with that, like I'm just using applewood, maybe a teeny bit of hickory in there or something like that. But applewood's supposed to be a little bit lighter, but not like that smoke flavor. It just permeates. It's amazing.
Very cool.
All right, well, I got a sound clip here,
And we're going to have a lot of fun tonight.
because we are going to have a lot of fun. So Eric, you want to start the giveaway? We'll do the sticker pack.
All right. Well, we want to use for a keyword there. So in terms of keywords,
Be creative. Be creative.
We'll call it the 2K N1OG. So 2000 N1OG, all lowercase. Make sure you get the pound sign in there, and we'll start that process. So when you're in the chat, if this is the first time doing a giveaway like this, just put in pound sign 2000 N1OG, all lowercase. If you want to get it on the sticker pack there, and we'll run it a couple of seconds when Paul gives me the go.
Can you put the keyword on the screen?
Oh,
No?
I can.
Ah, there we go. Bam. There you go.
We're good.
You want to win some stickers? Type that in the chat.
All right.
I tell you, I've been amped up for this all week. Like, I put this off and I put this off and I put this off. Like now I'm at almost 2.3, and I'm a couple. I think I'm like 10 or so subscribers from hitting the 300.
Nice.
And yeah, I was like, I really should do a giveaway. I really should.
Meanwhile, we were all on Live Rate Ham going, when is he going to do a freaking giveaway? It's like he literally blew over the 2000. He's just going to do it at 5, right? Yeah, we'll just wait to 5. That's just easier.
I appreciate everybody, being there, and I got a million projects going on all at once, as we all do, right? And so it's always tough to find that balance between the things that you want to do and all the shit you got to do.
What's the favorite
Look at that.
project? Top project going on right now. What you got? Most fun.
Well, all right. So the top project that is on my mind is my antenna. So my antenna is a fantastic setup. However, where the ladder line comes down to the balun at the house, the ladder line will move up and down with the wind. And so after a few windstorms where it connects to the balun, those two little pieces of wire they fray and they break. So I'm looking into getting some copper springs and coating them with silicone so that I can have just the ends exposed and have one end be attached to the balun and the other end soldered onto the ladder line. And the silicone springs, so that way if the wind happens to knock the springs into each other while I'm transmitting, in theory, it wouldn't have any connectivity. But it's definitely going to be it's going to be a lot of trial and error. It's going to be a lot of documenting my failures, and hopefully everybody enjoys that video when I'm finally done with it.
I'm about to say, didn't you have this problem last year?
Yeah, well, so what happened last year was the ends that support the tension on the dipole were just up in through the trees, and so with the tree branches rubbing on the Dacron, it eventually wore the Dacron out, and it broke, and the antenna fell. But we did solve that, and
yeah.
Listen, a good Marine always knows that there's no such thing as overkill. All right. And so I took 1/4-inch steel cable and I put a pulley on the end, and we shot a line up through the trees, and we pulled the steel cable up. And so the steel cable is through the trees, and any movement through the trees is on that cable. And then the Dacron goes through the pulley at the end of the cable. No rubbing on any of the Dacron anymore. And it works out really, really well.
That tree's coming down first before that cable does.
Oh, for sure.
Hey, Sean said in the chat he was asking what type of ladder line you were using with that antenna.
It came with the antenna. I believe it's 300 ohm, just regular 300 ohm ladder line. It's a K1JEK.com is the website there. Made right here in New Hampshire. Fantastic antennas. The Cobra Ultralight Senior is what I have currently. The one I had before that was the Junior. So the Senior is 140 feet total length. So it's a bigger antenna. Works 160 a little bit nicer.
We got one entry there in the giveaway for the first sticker pack there. Just letting you know. So if you want to join in again, just throw in # 2000 N10G as you see on the screen there. Bring that back up there, and we'll run it in a bit.
Hey, you know what? We need some Joe Brett voice in here.
You got some?
Where's Joe Brett? Does he want to jump on the stream?
If he does, tell him I'll throw it in Discord at him.
All right, Joe Brett, just let us know. We'll send you a link. So, rocking my Flag and Torch T-shirt tonight.
Woo woo!
We'll be giving one of those away later. Big props to the Flag and Torch for kicking me in the ass and getting the Weekend Warriors going, and then giving me a little bit of sponsorship and support in whatever ways that I needed to get the podcast rolling. I have a ton of fun with it. I call it my group therapy. And so if you haven't checked out, we're 11 episodes in currently on the Weekend Warriors. It's military guys that are currently serving and veterans. And sometimes we have a topic, sometimes we don't. But overall, we just love shooting the shit and having fun hanging out with each other. So if you haven't checked out the Weekend Warriors, what the fuck's wrong with you?
You're fucking stupid. You're probably a leg.
Or you just don't know it exists. That could be the other problem too.
There you go. Yeah. The thing is, right, is I didn't realize until I went to search for it on Apple Podcasts. There's like 5 other Weekend Warrior podcasts out there.
Man. I couldn't find it for a while. If we got the link, we'll throw the links in there just so the folks haven't picked it up there. Paul, you probably got them somewhere real quick. I could snarf them for you real quick, but if you got them, throw them in there.
To what? Flag and Torch?
Yeah.
Or
No, Weekend Warrior, both.
Weekend Warriors, both.
Well, Weekend Warriors is on my channel. The new channel is up. It's just not it's not fully filled with content yet, so I don't think there's anything publicly visible yet. Yeah, I hear
That's
you,
good.
Tony. Rebranding is coming. I've been thinking about this a lot, right? Because there's so many great channels, and everybody's channel is either something amateur radio, or it's something firearms, or it's very specific to their niche. And well, I like to do a lot of different things, so I don't want to pigeonhole myself into like having a ham radio channel and then having people be like, well, why are you posting pictures of you shooting guns and building a musket? Like, what is all this other nonsense? We want to see the ham radio stuff.
Not ham radio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ham radio clubhouse gets crap for that all the time.
So yeah, I don't know. I've definitely been thinking a lot about rebranding the channel. But for now, anyways, it's me. Welcome to my channel. It's all about me being the Grouch.
Just call it the trash can. Like, just you can throw everything into
There
it.
you go.
Hey, it's a trash can, not a trash can.
Just can't.
Well, don't overthink it too much though, because like I know as ham radio operators, there's a strong tendency to overthink and overanalyze things. And when I was starting my channel, I did the same thing. I was like, what if I'm going to do a channel? What should I call it? What should I do? What should be my niche, or this or that? And I realized like I'm just overthinking this. I'm just going to start putting out some videos. I'm just going to use my name, and it wasn't till like after a few videos I realized, well, I'm starting off every video saying, "Hi, I'm Mike N2MAK." All right, I'll just call the channel that. Just
That works,
especially now you hit a milestone to 2,000 subscribers. It takes a lot of time and effort to put together something, even if it's relatively short as far as a video or whatever. So if you're going to be putting time and effort into a channel, like, do what you want to do so you are enjoying that time that you're spending.
Totally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's switch gears here. We got a 14 for the first giveaway, and we got a ton more giveaways to go tonight. So let's kick this puppy off here. All right. For our first one
good
for the
luck.
sticker pack. Hey, Frequency
Hey, there we go.
Frontiers. There we go. All right, cool. Well, there is pinned to the top of the chat there. If you're in there, go ahead and fill out that form. We'll make sure we match you up to it, just in case there's some shenanigans going on and other people just are filling that form in for no reason at all. Didn't win anything. But yeah, fill that form in there, Frequency Frontiers, and we'll make sure we get that off to you. And appreciate your entering the drawing. More to come.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize.
One or two.
I was like, well, I want to make this big, right? So I put a lot of things together to give away, and I don't know. It might take a little bit of time, I guess.
Yeah, I could have told you that. It's like we're not doing a Jerry, the telethon there, my friend. We do have to get up the next day.
Hey, good to see James Hannibal in there. If you don't have a Corky QRP mat, go check out his Etsy
Oh my gosh,
store.
those are
'cause
awesome.
I
Good stuff,
absolutely
man.
love my reference mat.
Well, and now he's got the new mug, the new drinking glasses that says FT8 causes me to drink. So got to get one of those too.
Oh. There's a lot of things that cause me to drink. Well, drinking causes me to drink.
What they actually need to do is they need to bring back FT8 off, and they need to get the FT8 drinking glasses, and then they need to do a waterfall on stream live
Ooh.
Drinking from the FT8 makes me drink glasses.
Sounds like you got something there, Mike. Man, I'm all game for that.
I'm onto something.
Well, there you go. What to say is you throw it out into the ether. Now you own it, so you got to run with it.
So, Sean, I appreciate the question. So, what is this channel about? This channel is about guns, radios, hiking, camping, fishing,
Auto
hunting.
repair.
Auto repair, ATVs. I mean,
All
you
cool
name
shit.
it. If it is exciting and it is fun, I'm all about it.
Mhm.
Like, if you ever wanted to know what a flintlock rifle looks like when it goes off in slow mo, I got a video for that.
There are so many ham adjacent topics and interests out there. It's hard to just hone in on just one thing.
Yeah, I mean, so I was just in the chat for Coffee and Ham Radios the other day, and that came up. It was like, literally, there are so many facets to the hobby of amateur radio. Like, whether you're into satellites or microwave or any of that high stuff, or you're into HF and QRP and contesting and digital. Like, I mean, it's literally anything and everything for everyone. Ooh,
Crazy.
James. Yes, we need to do that.
Oh, dude, I'll be there for that one. I'll help you with that one.
Nothing like a
Paul is going to
50
put an
cal
end to
lead
spurious
ball.
emissions.
Might be cooler for Nikon.
Dude, that's another T-shirt, Mike. This is going awesome. I love it.
That's what I'm here for.
Thank you, man. You are a gold mine of those. Write that down. Nope.
So, Sean, what kind of auto repair? You name it. So I've got a 2007 Toyota Tundra. I've done all the modifications to it myself. I hate paying to have a shop do any type of work on my vehicles. But the missus, she's got a newer, I think it's a 2018, 2019 Acura RDX. And I don't know, she's all about the dealership, right? Because the dealership says, well, we'll give you, free service. Yeah, well, it's not really, though, because every time she takes it in, they go, oh, yeah, guess what? Your car needs about $2,000 worth of work. And it's
Minimum.
like,
It's always that.
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. So they literally quoted her $1,900 for pads and rotors.
Holy
And I was like,
shit.
yeah. And so I went online, and for $178, I got all new pads and rotors. It took me about an hour in the driveway. So I didn't do a full in-depth video on it because there are so many videos on how to do pad slap. I mean, like, that's literally mechanics 101. That's the basic stuff.
Well, there's one of those app the shortcut URLs that goes to how to fix anything, any vehicle. I forget what it is.
Yeah, there's so many YouTube videos of full in-depth, like, mechanical tutorials. If it comes down to it, and somebody needs that from me, 100% I'll provide it. But until then, I will just try and make it interesting. You just don't choke and die.
Small bites there, Joe. Small bites.
Jokes on the shotgun. Not here.
Well, it's about 9:30. You want to run another one? Since we've got a long laundry list of stuff here, we're gonna have to get through.
Yeah. Let's do Kermit's books, because I know he can't stay with us for the whole length here.
Okay.
So, Kermit, if you want to tell everybody about the books and why you wrote the books and why you decided to grace us with them.
Well, appreciate the opportunity. One, I love guns and ham radio too. So, and on the car thing, the first time I did my brakes, I blew the brakes out going on the Grapevine in California one time. And I called my buddy. I was like, hey, I need you to come. I think I need new brakes. And he goes, yeah, I'll be right over. He goes, go to AutoZone, tell them the model of your car, whatever. I go get the brake pads. and they replace him for life. So that's kind of nice. And he comes back and like 15 minutes later, he changed one set of the pads, and I'm like, yeah, what else is there? He's like, that's it. I'm like, no, that can't just be it, because I paid like hundreds of dollars for people to do this. I was so pissed because like literally in about 45 minutes, we changed the pads on all of them. And then at AutoZone, I go in and, you go buy the new ones, you put them on, you take the old ones back in and trade it in. And I asked the guy at AutoZone one time, I said, how can you guys afford to do this? And he just looks at me and goes, there's not a lot of you out there.
All right, exactly.
I have to say, I probably change the brakes every 12 months if I need them or not. But anyway, so my story starts back in 2012. I was actually in Chesapeake, Virginia at the time. I don't know if you guys remember the show Doomsday Preppers from Nat Geo.
Yeah.
One of
That
my
was a great
favorite show on like just how crazy some people are and how not to do it. And I was going to write a book. Everybody's writing books. James Wesley Rawls was out. Chris Weatherman had written Going Home series, that kind of stuff. I was like, I can write a book. So I'm going to write a book. One of my characters has little kids, and he's taking them through the swamp after the event happens. And I'm sitting there going, how would you prepare your kids for this? Like, how do you prepare them to get ready for something that drastic? And I just thought to myself, I'd go to Amazon and buy a book. And so, I'd just gotten onto the prepping, preparedness train, self-sufficiency train. And I go to Amazon and there were no books on prepping at the time. So I decided to write my own. And so I wrote the first one, which is Prepper Pete Prepares. And Prepper Pete's an ant, because they prep in the spring and the summer and the fall to get ready for the winter. And there's a grasshopper. And that was an introduction to prepping for kids. The first one ever. Put it on Amazon. And that went well. And that actually led, though, to Survivalist Sam, which is the 4 B's of prepping for kids, which is the beans, bullets, bandages, and barter. I had bad guys, but that didn't seem very kid-friendly, so we went with barter instead. And oddly enough, I had toilet paper as a big barter item. Didn't think that was going to come to fruition, but I must be a prophet, because even
What are you, a Simpsons like predictor or something?
Well, that's kind of what I feel like, because even on the Prep Repeat one, I was talking about the different reasons that people want to prepare, and one of them was a plague. And so, I'm just saying I'm ahead of my time. But anyway, that then led to my wife's sister, who her and her husband have been into that genre a bit longer than me. They did with the 12 Days of Prepper Christmas for me. And that consisted of, based on a true story, but the first day of Prepper Christmas, my true love got for me a luggable loo and some BioTP. And so, and all 12 items, all 12 gifts fit in the luggable loo, but it was actually 2 walkie-talkies. I'll be changing that to handy talkies. I'm re-illustrating these with the new illustrator this year. And so it'll be 2 Baofangs on there, probably a UV5R, just to really dig into some people. But that was just a fun one. And then I had gotten into, even though I'm a chaplain, before I was a chaplain, I was a surface warfare officer in the Navy. And I've been around guns. I was never really a big gun owner. And I kind of got that bug bit me. And so I wanted to write a gun safety book for my kids. And so I wrote Prepper Pete's Gun of a Son. And it's a gun safety book. And since you said, Paul, that you wanted this to be about guns and ham rodeo, I'll throw this into the giveaway as well, just to make sure somebody gets that. But it's a fun treat, never keep. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast, breathe, relax, aim, squeeze. All those are in there. And none of the books are designed to be like the end all be all. They're designed to be a launching point for discussion for a grown up with a kid to kind of work through. And so that brings us to, that probably took from 2012 to 2014, about 2 years. And then the Navy called me to active duty. I got to go around and do some fun stuff. And my buddy, Josh Culp, NV4EL, he was at Quantico, and he goes, Kermit, when are you going to write the ham radio book? And I was like, Josh, I don't know. And he goes, you really need to write it. Like, I'll help you. And I was like, okay, fine. I said, I probably need to get my license first, though, right? And he goes, yeah, you don't want to be a poser. And I was like, okay. And I got you. I know. And I said, how hard is the exam? Like, what do you think? How hard would it be? And so Josh and I went to the Naval Academy together, and he knows my major. And he goes, what was your major? You were a poli-sci major? That probably take you a couple of months. And that was Friday morning at 5:30. And I literally left S&G's restaurant. If you've ever been to Quantico, you've probably been to S&G's, had some SOS. So I had that and went back. I did 3 or 4 funerals at Arlington National Cemetery that day. It was Veterans Day weekend, and literally holed up into my hotel room. And that was Friday. Saturday night I took my technician and passed. Sunday night I took the general and passed, and then Monday night I took the extra and passed.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, just because he had just like kind of torqued me. And then I called him and I'm like, hey, Josh, aren't you just a general? Like, when are you going to get your extra license? Is it going to take you a couple of months because you're an engineer? And he just goes, Kermit, do you even own a ham radio? And I'm like, that's beside the point. Anyway, so Wednesday I went back down, met him about 5 o'clock in the morning, and we did a Parks on the Air activation for my first ever ham radio anything.
That's awesome.
POTA, man, I'm a POTA bug. And so that led to, we kind of sketched out the first couple of books, Radio Rick, Relays Relief, which is, that's in the giveaway for tonight. This one came out in October, and it's basically emergency tornado comes through or a big storm comes through and knocks out communication. And Rick uses the repeater to relay in help. And I didn't realize that was going to be quite so true with Hurricane Helene, but very similar kind of work on that. And then I also we did the book covers for POTA Pam Activates a Park, Prepper Pete and the Ham Exam, Radio Rick Receives a Message. My favorite character that's coming though is Chuck Morris. And that's gonna be Chuck Morris. Chuck Morris taps into trouble. Chuck Morris can talk on HF without a radio. And
exactly. HF talks to Chuck Norris.
There you go. So I'm working on that one, and then I heard a story. I think it was Ham Radio 2.0 was interviewing Chris Weatherman, the Angry American, and he was telling this story about how he went to this event. Somebody didn't show up that was supposed to. Cell phones don't work, and so he used his ham radio to connect to someone with emergency traffic to start a search and rescue. And then he said, I think I know where she might be. This is kind of my national forest. So he goes and he actually finds her, but brings her back and uses the ham radio to kind of call up the official search type stuff. And I thought like, wow, that's like a true story of ham radio making a difference. And so I contacted him. If you guys have ever talked to Chris, it's like trying to grab a greased pig in the middle of a storm kind of thing, but had lunch with him or breadsticks anyway, garlic knots. And so this book that's coming out in December is Survival of Sam Saves the Day. It's literally that story kind of put in context of a kid's book. And so it kind of goes through, it discusses like what's a repeater, what's the difference between UHF and VHF, ham shack, mobile radio. Survival of Sam Saves the Day goes into how ham radio is the only communication platform that doesn't require an infrastructure of any sort. It's the last line of communication that doesn't have a kill switch. And so again, nothing huge. Got a new illustrator for this set of books though, and I'm really pleased with them. But we're going to go back and redo the first 4 books. And then when I heard you, Paul, I was like, wow, a giveaway is really cool. And I just, frankly, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to sell 10,000 books, but I really just want to spread the love and share knowledge and tell kids. So if I'm riding an airplane or something and there's a kid that's like on the airplane, I'll give them a copy. I've given away probably 100 books in the past month or two.
Nice.
Just because I really just want to share knowledge. And I do think there's some people that aren't really big on telling kids, but I think that if you introduce them to something fun and you make it exciting and bring it to their level, it'll come back. Even if it's 10 years or 5 years or 20 years, it'll come back. And so that's why I'm here. I'm grateful to be here, but I'm going to put on the giveaway for tonight, whoever wins it, if you get me the info, I'll put the first 3 books on there. And
now, are you going to do a run that's specifically for Marines, and it'll be black and white, and it'll
I have a coloring book coming out.
It's only
I might eat all the crayons before I get finished with the coloring. But
yeah, to be clear, the first book, and you'll notice the Prepper Pete wears an 8-point cover. I mean, that's very intentional. The first book was illustrated. I was at a brig at the time on staff. Just to, it helps to clarify. And I'm literally sitting there with I'm taking this class with a guy, and I said, hey, I'm thinking of writing this children's book on prepping. and Staff Sergeant Charlie Brill, who's now I think like Master Gunnery Sergeant Charlie Brill, he just goes, "Well, why don't you?" I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So I go home that night, bang out the first book, bang out the second book, and I come back and I'm like, "Wow, I really need an illustrator." And he goes, "You know, my wife's kind of an artist." Well played, Charlie. Well played. Anyway, and so the illustrator for the first 4 books is Christy Brill, his wife at the time. So illustrated literally by a Marine spouse, and
That's awesome.
I think Charlie's still
Very
on active
cool.
duty, but she did great. But she did everything in like old school media, and so I need it digitized, and so that's why we're redoing it. But she brought Prepper. He literally came in the next day with like a little clay figurine of an ant that she was using like to draw and sketch from. And I'm
Wow.
like, I mean, it was like overnight. I was like, yeah, okay, we're doing this. And then like away we went. And so it was just it was an awesome time. Awesome.
That's
So-
awesome. All right.
Cool.
So if you want to win the books, Eric's going to tell you what the keyword is. There it is. Kermit likes TP.
All
Make,
caps.
su- make sure
All caps.
don't forget the hashtag and Ace Matters.
A Luggabaloo and some bio TP.
It's the first person that I'm allowing to use caps all the way.
Now I'll tell you. So Kermit sent me the links so that I could read through the books, and they are very, very well done. Very well done. The gun safety one was a big one that I really liked. The content is there, and I could see how, you know, if you've got young kids and you're trying to teach them about firearm safety, the 5 tenets of firearm safety are all outlined, very easy to understand. Plus some other things, you know, about firearms and firearm safety in there. And so, yeah, just absolutely random. I mean, awesome.
Random.
Random, yeah, no, random.
It's random. No,
Oh,
it's not
should
random.
have
It's
a,
awesome.
You should have physical copies. There should be. I was hoping they'd get there before today, but I think with the holidays and everything, the mail got slowed down. But you've got a physical set signed that should be at your doorstep this week. So, and you can read those yourself or give them away. Like I'll send you a new copy if I need to.
Oh yeah,
Man, it
Nightbot's
looks like
being a
Nightbot
dick,
is
huh?
laying the smack down.
Today he is, man. Are you
let
pulling
me,
that off of Discord? Where's that coming from?
I have the stream up too.
That's
So
funny.
Yeah, let me
it's because
tone,
it's all
tone the
everything's all
Nightbot down.
caps.
Nightbot does not like caps.
You know, whenever I talk to ChatGPT, I always say please and thank you, just for when they do start to take over, they'll remember that I was kind to them when the rest of y'all were being mean.
Throw that back off there for a little while.
But yeah, Paul, I appreciate your kind words. I do spend a lot of time trying to. I do Easter eggs. I try to make sure the drawings are accurate. You'll really see that in the more recent books that we've spent a lot more time grooming through those. And Gun of a Son actually became Amazon #1 bestseller in children's safety for almost 6 months in 2015. And so it was kind of a wild ride, and I hated to see it end. So now that I'm getting back on the pony, it's a lot of fun. So
Well,
I have a Gun of a Son 2 coming out that I'm trying to partner with some other people.
I've got Poda Pamela in the shopping cart here, so definitely gonna have to pick one up if I don't win them. But yeah, it sounds like I find it's gonna be really cool because like our club does a lot of like reach out to 4-H, so like a lot of younger kids and stuff like that. So this would be like totally right up their alley. So I'm pretty psyched to see something out there.
Yeah, and I'm kind of bouncing back and forth. We got another one coming out in December called Nervous Ned Needs to Know. It's just a general safety book for kids. I got a hunting safety book that's going to come out probably next year. So we're kind of running back and forth on round robin of ideas as we work through it. So if you got any, let me know. I'm happy to partner with people too.
So
I'll
I
try
have a
and get-
question for you in the
I'll
books.
try and get an Oscar the Grouch in the background of one coming up here soon with N1OG on it.
It'd be
So
awesome.
Kermit, I have a quick question for you on the books. Is there like a particular reading level and stuff that or age that you're targeting? And like if so, like kind of why did you
Yeah,
Yeah.
43 and
your age
below.
group?
Well, I normally say 2 to 102. You know, 2 to your average Marine. Take your pick. Mike, it's a good question, and this is one that I go back and forth with a lot on different people, and the answer is not really. I listed on Amazon as like 2 to 10 or 3 to 10 or something like that, and you'll see. I mean, it's the form factor is kind of a you know, younger kid level type stuff. But I get a lot of people that tell me they're 8, 10, even 12-year-olds enjoy reading them just because of what's in them for the conversation.
Yeah.
And then I get some people that buy it for their friends that the early days when I did it, the first book is kind of this, it makes fun of preppers and it also makes fun of non-preppers because it talks about how, you know, even the government says you should have food for 3 days, and it's got like the FEMA website page listed.
Yep.
And so people will buy it and give it for Christmas, like to their friends that are not preppers or not gun people, just to mess with them. So I'm a full supporter of that one. Greatest compliment I got was a guy who said it took me, I read it with my kid who's like, I think he was 8 years old. He said it took us an hour to read the first book because we had to stop on every page and discuss like
everything in it
going on and why. I'm not sure my son enjoyed it that much, but I sure
they're
did. I was
engaged.
like, there you go.
I taught all my kids from the time they were like 5 or 6 firearm safety, and then I took them to the range and started them on 22s.
Yep.
And then as they get older, worked them up. You know, so my youngest is 14 now, and he's the range safety officer. Like when we go out to the range, he'll be the one. He'll be like, "All right, range is cold. Range is cold. Eyes and ears off. Everybody's good." And then when we're ready to fire, he'll be like, "All right, range is hot. Range is hot. Eyes and ears, everybody." Like, but I'll tell you, the biggest thing with guns is guns are tools, right? And it's no different than any other tool that can kill you if you misuse it, right? So if you're safe and you know how to use it properly, then you can be effective with that tool. And that's not just for adults, that's for kids too. If you remove the curiosity and you educate them and you show them, right, then they're not going to be that kid that's going to be like, "Oh, hey, my friends are over. Come see this gun. Look at this," and, you know, do something foolish with it, because they're going to know. And they're going to be like, "No, like, that's a gun that, you know, it might be loaded, it might not be loaded, but it doesn't matter. We don't touch it. We don't play with it. It's not a toy."
And it's almost not that big a deal. Like the appeal of the behind the scenes. I love sending copies of Gun of a Son to my Canadian friends in particular. But my hashtag for the longest time was teach safety, not fear. Like if you teach kids how to be safe with the gun and don't teach them to fear the gun, and then I just always ask the question, well, are we going to ban cars? Because more people die from cars than guns. I mean, and they're like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, seriously? And then they,
all right. I'll go one further.
And take me one further.
I'll say, listen, all right. So I love the meme, right? Or it's the you know, the 2 people up top, and it's like, "Oh, well, I'm banning guns to save lives." And then on the bottom picture it says, "Oh, okay. So are you also going to cut off your dick to stop rape?" It's the same fucking logic.
Man, how am I supposed to segue into the drawing now?
Oh, listen, I love the fact that I'm not monetized currently, and I can say whatever the fuck I want.
All right, well, with that, we're going to put a pin in that for a second. let's get into the drawing there. All right, so again, if you haven't already paid attention and you're just lost at this moment, I'm with you. Yeah, we're going to draw for Kermit's 3 books. The key word here is Kermit likes TP. So let's run it here because we got a bunch more to give away. So we want to get to that stuff here. So for the 3 books, we are going to be giving them to Roger McKinnon. There
Roger.
we go. Nice job.
Congratulations.
All right, Roger. Well, as we said before, there's a link at the top of pinned at the top of this chat. So head over there and fill out that form, and we'll make sure we get your books to you and enjoy them because they look like really cool books. I'm going to have to make sure I get those in my shopping cart.
Oh, Roger had just said in the chat too that he's got a buddy of his that's a prepper with young kids, and
Oh,
so
there you go. Nice.
yeah,
Well, I
That's
guess in
awesome.
that reason, I'll put the original book in too. We'll make it a 4-pack.
Look at that, Roger. Your bundle just
Wow.
keeps getting bigger.
Yeah.
Man, it's sort of like HR20 stream last night where you could pick your own price with gigaparts.
Oh yeah, did
That
you
was
see
so
that?
much
Like,
fun.
Yeah, it was totally awesome. I was pretty psyched about that one.
Eric, did you grab anything?
I did not, sadly, by the time I realized you put a bid in there for the POTA 20, I couldn't, I was on my mobile phone. So like trying to go from, figure out what I want to throw. Like I was throwing the Flex, the TGXL in there to say, because Jason kept going, don't post the, FT101 as $100. So I was like, all right, well, then I'll just do the TGXL for $101. So, maybe they'll bend on that one. And for those that don't know what the TGXL, that's Flex's, fleet power amp there. They're 2,000 watt full legal limit.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
well,
some
I
power.
told you, right? I broke my Tenkara mast, right? And I was like, well, I mean, it was cheap. It did the job for a year. I broke it twice before it finally broke. And so I knew I needed to invest in a better mast, especially for doing summits. And I watched Mike's video, and of course I was more confused than ever because I was like, so many choices, there's so many great masts. Like, what do I actually need? Like, what's gonna do it for me? But yeah, I mean, a POTA 20 for $75, I couldn't say no.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll find out that the masks can be like antennas. Like it's like when I find the perfect one, I'm gonna stop buying and making them. But like until then, there's so many options. But they all have their place, whether it's for summits or putting up in the backyard to traveling with. Everything's there's so many different needs, from being able to fit it in luggage to it being comfortable on the backpack to being able to get up 30, 40, 50 feet, whatever. So
Yeah, didn't you break your POTA 20 mast too in your mast video there, Mike?
no.
Or was that the Tenkara? I thought.
I snapped the Goucher.
Oh, that's what it was, right?
And it
Oh,
wasn't.
that's
and
I broke.
And in full defense, I did this to the soda beams too, and it wasn't with an antenna on it. It's when I was trying to twist, and it's like those last section or two. I did the same thing to the soda beams like a year ago. I just trying to turn it. Maybe I put too much torque. But
Right.
those end pieces are so tiny and so brittle, and it is what it is. But the Gouchers do come with replacement parts for the at last 2 or 3 sections, so it's like they know you're gonna break it.
They should just throw in a spare one when they give it to you the first time out.
Yeah.
I did the same thing with my Carbon 6 too. Like I like you get this invincible thing in your head that like, oh, this mast is going to be great. You get all the way out there, you throw something on heavy, and it's like a little breeze goes by and snaps. And it's like, that's tough.
Yeah, I have my first mast, and it was in that video, was the MFJ. It's their 33-foot one or 10-meter one, and it's probably very comparable to like a DX Commander mast, right? And that's held up for 3-4 years. It's been great. But one of my friends has one. He's the one who loaned me his Soda Beams Mini, Tactical Mini, for the video, and we were setting up for an activation. I watched one of the top sections snap on that when we were setting up in a windy day. But I know they're not around anymore, but MFJ, like he reached out and they sent replacement parts like immediately.
Wow.
Which was a nice thing, but you never know. It's you got to have a backup. That's for sure.
I got a question for the chat.
Yeah.
Do we have in the chat a new technician? I see we've got 30 people on the stream. So there's got to be somebody who's fairly new, because I think they're going to really like the next giveaway item.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
There might be a radio snob. You never know.
Well, let me tell you. All right. So here's the next thing we're going to give away. right? This is a UV 5X3, so it's a tri-band. It also has the 1.25 centimeter band, and instead of the factory antenna, it has already been replaced with a Nagoya tri-band antenna.
Nice.
And instead of the short battery, it's got a nice big tall one. And
Can you walk around with that, Vanna, and model it?
CQ, CQ, CQ. Hello, CQ. Anybody there? I bought a whole bunch of the 5X3s when I first got licensed. I wanted the tri-band, and now that I've got my new Yaesu FT3 DR, well, it's not new. It was used, but it's new to me, and I love it. So, but I don't need as many of the Baofangs, and so I figure ham it forward, right? Somebody out there could use this radio and appreciate the ability to have all three bands, and it's a free radio.
You got to use it or we lose it, and like 220s already. We've lost a section of the 1.25 meter band a bit ago, and you know, if you're not out there using it, they're going to take it.
Oh yeah, look what they're doing to 900 megahertz.
The forgotten band.
Yep.
And actually, I'm wearing Mike's favorite shirt. Just give AM a chance.
Yes.
Yeah. No, and even if you don't have a lot of activity, like we have a couple 220 repeaters near me that I can hit, but if you go out certain times of the year, VHF contests are in January, June, and September. Like you go out in January, if you got 220 megahertz, you can have a lot of fun. If you have people actively participating in those contests, you can get out, make simplex contacts, and it's a good time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Mike, you are like my hero when it comes to like VHF, UHF stuff. Like I'm so like pushing myself to get better into those spaces because like I'm just a repeater boy, hanging out, thinking I'm the cool guy. But heck, you're out there doing half that stuff and having fun with it. And I see a few people like on Winter Heat is like a big contest that's the VHF, UHF stuff that happens a lot that are posting stuff where there are a lot of band openings in 6 and 220 and 440 and 2 meters and stuff. And it's like, oh man, I got to get my gear back up and start doing that.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. And we have a lot of people out in the Western New York region that are active on, the high bands, or would say, 50 and above, and you get into even in the microwave space, you can start getting into, 10 gigs and stuff like that. So it's definitely easier said than done to say, like, go play VHF radio and make contacts. A lot of it depends on location, whether you got elevation or you just have that ham density and you got people listening on 5.2 and stuff like that. But it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely a good learning experience when you get out and try different bands and different modes and stuff like that. At least that's how I've learned. I memorize all the questions, but then I've learned hands-on.
Well, you also said it too. Like you have a big, huge population in your club where like they're all the above frequencies and stuff like that. So like you have a lot of people you can lean on. Like I know in my club we have a small few people and they're more contesters, and I'm like, I don't want to be a contester, and so that's awesome to have it in your back pocket.
Yep, and I'd say what I say about VHF for just about any other band or mode too. There's opportunity if you're looking to try something new. I did RIDI. I've done it like once in my life, and I did it back in January when there's the RIDI contest, or one of the RIDI contests that the league does, and contests can be a really good opportunity if you want to try something new, a different mode like RIDI, which I just did for my 7300 using the pre-programmed functions that you can do. You can do that on the 7300 and the ICOM 705 also. But there's good opportunities. Just get out there, try and learn. And whether it's 160 meters, which I think they do contests in the winter for. I think 10 meters has something coming up soon, but different modes too. Like I said, RIDI and everything else.
I got one question for you, Mike. Oh, before we go to the top of the hour, what is your, like, if I could strip every other band away from you when it comes to those modes, what would you have? What would be your go-to? Like, what's your favorite? If you could only do one type thing.
If I could only like do one thing for like an extended period of time, what would it be? It's hard to say. Yeah, it's really hard to say. Like, if I was going to be confined to a particular band, I guess I might just say maybe 2 meters, just because I can at least do different modes like APRS. I can do WinLink, which I do regularly. Those things I can talk on the repeaters or do some simplex. But being in the Northeast, there's nothing like 40-meter sideband. Like, you don't need much power, you don't need much of an antenna, you can still get by with a ham stick or something compromised. But in the Northeast, we have such a ham density that, to go back to that term, like, you can talk to anyone in the region easily on 40-meter sideband up here usually. So it's a lot of fun there.
Sweet. Okay. Only if you'd stay on 40 meters a little longer every time, because I always miss you every time you're doing your POTA.
Yeah, my son and I did activate it on 7.2 on Thanksgiving.
Oh, awesome! So, how did that one go?
We asked. Like, I have the recording. I'm debating if I want to just make a video out of the recording.
Oh, please post that one.
But I always go to 7.2 to tune up. Like everyone else probably
that's
does.
A perfect spot to do it.
And I was like, and this is the same thing that happened last time I did an activation on 7.2. It was quiet, and I'm like, you know what? And my son's 15, so, and I'm Gen X, so we've watched a lot of inappropriate movies from the 80s and the 90s. But I kind of give him the heads up. I'm like, hey, you want to try something? This is gonna be different. I'm like, a lot of jack wagons hang out here, and they're not here. And I called out at least 3-4 times to see if the frequency is in use. No one was coming back. So we ran with it. And there's a little bit of lame QRM partway through, but we did it for like a half hour. So we had like 16, 17 contacts.
Not bad.
It was a little slower because it was Thanksgiving, and I'm sure people saw the spot and saw us on 7.2. I was like, is this for real?
I saw that. I was like, this can't be right. There must be a problem.
But, so we listened for a minute or two, like after, just so he could get an idea, and we listened. And, as soon as we were done and we went QRT, immediately they jumped back on, and they're arguing about the boroughs and okay. It must have been some guys down in New York or whatever, but it was you got to be kidding me. This is classic, but we had a good time. It was fun.
I secretly tune up on 14-300, so I sympathize with you, man.
Yep.
All right. Well, back to you, Mr. N1OG.
All right. So here's the thing. All right. I was gonna say let's raffle off the Baofeng, right? But we got a guy in the chat, Trent Smith, who is studying for his technician's license next month. And so, Trent, if you want, fill out that form that's pinned at the top of the chat and let me know what your information is. I will send you this radio so that when you get your license, you've got a radio out the box. Yep. All right. And instead, Eric, can we run a giveaway for this Flag and Torch shirt? Obviously not this one, a new one, but
not
unless you want the shirt off my back.
Price goes up.
If you want the shirt off my back, I'll give it to you.
I got a good one here.
The N1BO version.
All right, here we go. So we're gonna go with for the Flag and Torch shirt here. The keyword is shirt off N1OG's back. All lowercase, so we don't annoy the Nightbot there, and all one word there. So make sure you have 2 F's there, because one is not enough.
Nightbot is no longer monitoring all caps and those things. So yeah,
told it to go to hell. Good deal.
I told Nightbot, like, fuck off, Nightbot.
So this is for the Flag and Torch shirt. Just so jumping in there, if you want to get your own Flag and Torch tea, definitely throw that keyword there in the chat. Way to go, Kermit there. Show him who's boss.
Yeah. Fuck off, Nightbot.
We'll let that run for a
Josh
little
was
bit.
talking about it last night. He was like, "Oh, it's so great. It's so great." And I'll tell you, okay, maybe without the use of StreamYard, it would be a lot more effective and a lot more useful. But I mean, StreamYard's got a lot of all of those features kind of built in already. So I'll keep it on the side. You know, at some point, I know we've been talking Flag and Torch side, wanting to do like a Discord hangout and live stream at the same time. And so, you know, maybe the Nightbot will be good in that aspect because it'll help pull the Discord chat in and all that. But yeah, tonight Nightbot can suck my dick.
If I don't hear silence, I'm gonna.
Sorry.
Cool. All right. Let's get this updated. Any good Black Friday deals? Anybody pick up anything good?
Man, HRO had some good deals on radios that's going on until what, Monday, and they've got the 710 on sale, and man, I want it, but I'm gonna have to wait.
What are you coming off of for HF radio? Do you have one already?
I've got a 991A over there, but I blew up the USB port in it.
Yeah,
So,
it happens often.
I can't do FT8 on it anymore, and I miss FT8. And I loved FT8.
So just do me one thing, Steve. Don't ever call it the field radio, and you and I can remain friends.
Which one? The 710?
710.
Yeah, that's a marketing thing for Yaesu on how to take a $5 radio, sell it for $100, and then knock some prices off of it. But anyway.
Yep, and remove an item that normally it comes with.
Yeah.
But it's got a handle.
It was honestly, I think, one of the smartest things that they did to get that price down, because like the Black Friday deals, the field version is like 800 and change, and then
like
the best price I've seen for the 7300 is like around $1,000. Like it finally got that price down where it was below a 7300. Because initially, and like it always is with new radios, there's so much more at first, it seems, and then they don't go up in value till you use them and try to sell them.
Does anybody
That's
have
a guarantee.
710?
My club does. I've done a couple videos on it. My club bought one like a year and a half ago, and they bought it so that they could loan it out to members, like especially new ones. So if somebody just got licensed, they just got their general ticket, and they're thinking about buying a radio, they could, try out a 710. They wanted a newer SDR radio, and so they went with the 710 over the 7300. I have a 7300, and I'm more of an ICOM fanboy, but the 710 is fantastic. And Eric's joking because I brought it up for a soda activation. I went up for a 30-pound
got one
pack
ready to give away
to prove it was a field radio because it had a handle. But no, it really is a good radio, and stuff.
I guess
what a field radio is certainly depends on like everyone's individual definition.
No, it doesn't.
A peak or a picnic table, but
you on drugs?
Well, I guess what I'm wondering. So I've got a couple of 891s and a 991A. Well, one of my 891s and my 991A, I blew the USB port in them. It's very easy. And it's part of the freaking main board. So it's like a $700 fix. There is no like solder something else. It's a massive fix. So did they fix that in the 700 or the 710? Or is the USB port still the same?
So 2 questions. I know in terms of the USB port itself and the 710, it's pretty rock solid, at least my experience. But what are you putting down your USB cable that you're frying USB ports left and right on 891s and everything? I'm curious.
Well, on the 891, I bought it for $400 at a ham fest. Somebody else had blown the USB port in it,
Okay.
which is why I got it for $400.
Yep.
It's my second one. The 991, I don't know. I had it hooked up to the laptop, was running FT8, and my guess is the USB cable that I was using wasn't shielded, and got some feedback. I sent it to Yaesu. They looked at it and said, "Yeah, you blew the onboard USB controller, and it's 649 and change."
Ooh,
I was like, ugh.
it's a brand new radio.
Send it back to me. It's several years old and not under warranty, and I mean everything works. I've just got to figure out how to hook a signal link or the SU17 up to it and get it working again. And
Yeah, I love my DigiRig for that stuff. I've got them on all my radios, and that little device is awesome. Oh, that's a nice little radio too.
This is the
Yeah,
field radio.
I was just gonna say.
Well, okay.
I've done a lot of photos on this one and thousands
That's
of
inside
miles
of here.
on 5 watts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I've seen a couple of comments in the chat too about the 710. The 710 is when on the digital modes, that's definitely plug and play. That was for WinLink and FT8 and all that I've done with it. It was smooth sailing. It was really easy setup for the digital modes. So 710 is definitely, if you're into that, it's nice.
Here's a step up to that.
ooh,
This is a lovely little. This is an all-in-one, like literally FX4CR. If you've never seen it, it's SCR waterfall. Has digital via Bluetooth, so you can do FT8 off of FT8 CN or whatever you want,
And how
and
much
runs
is it?
20 watts. 350 somewhere around there.
Okay, I'll send
Really?
you
I
I'll
thought it
send
was
you my
more like
address.
600.
I'll go fill out the
more? Has it
form,
gone up?
Paul.
I got it for 350 when it came out, so yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably gone up.
I'm gonna go fill
yeah.
out the form now so you can mail it to me. We'll be good. So, yeah.
Well, you might want to get in line. I think Paul said he's got dibs on this before you. So if the 1F ever comes out, this may get sold to move on to a better, home. But we'll see. The 1F's got to wow me. All right. Well, hey. Well, before we get into something else, let's kick this other giveaway off here. So let's run it. So again, this is for the shirt off of N1OG's back. This is for the Flag and Torch new smelling T-shirt, not the one Paul's wearing. All right, Tony Cantrell.
Tony.
Good job,
Tony,
Tony.
sounds good. There's a pinned link in the chat there. Make sure you go fill out that form. Make sure you also include in that, your shirt size, so Paul doesn't send you like a, ladies' two top or something.
Oh no, for Tony, I'm gonna send him an extra small.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Does Tony even wear shirts?
Occasionally.
I don't know that I've been in a video chat with Tony and him have a shirt on.
Wow, that'll be the first.
I think he wears a T-shirt for the Weekend Warrior recordings, and then the rest of the time he's shirtless.
It's like Hulk Hogan.
To come in a breakaway version.
Yeah, pure
Cut
rip
the
away.
sleeves
Yeah.
out before you send it to him, Paul.
I'll put some slits in it.
There you go. Well, gentlemen, I want to say thank you for tonight. I wish I could stick around a little bit longer, but I've got some other obligations, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Paul, thank you for having me on. The rest of you gentlemen, it has been a total pleasure, and I look forward to hopefully circling back and spending some time with you in the future. So
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming, Kermit.
take care. God bless.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
You too, man.
What a
And there
nice
were
guy.
4. Yeah, dude. He's to write children's books and still have all of your faculties together. That's awesome. So it's awesome. Cool. Yeah, looking forward to having him
Be
on
a
and
chaplain
talking
and
about.
hang out with us.
I know that too,
Yeah,
right?
No, I definitely think being a father with I got 2 boys, and my oldest got his tech and his general when he was 11. He's 15 now, and then my youngest is now 10, and he's mentioned he'd be interested in getting it, but I definitely see a need for children's books geared towards a younger audience when it comes to amateur radio. If you want to get a younger generation involved. I was lucky. My club, because I have a big club in my region, we do regular twice a year Zoom classes for the technician, the general, and occasionally the extra exams. And so my son took the technician class for 3 months, did that, passed his test, and then worked with me on his own to get his general a few months later. But you look at the kids, and I've gone out. Was it back in June? It's I don't know the date. It's around the 18th or so, mid-June. There's International QRP Day, and there's a purpose to this story. Go out. I wanted to go out and activate on International QRP Day and do a quick POTA. And my son and his friend wanted to go out to the park to play, so we went. Park is it's a town park, but it's within a national park, so it qualifies for POTA US 6532. Do an activation, and his friend has never been exposed to amateur radio. So while they're going to play, and he sees him putting an antenna on the car and everything, he's asking some questions, and they came back. I had about 12 contacts or so, so I activated and wrapped it up and starts asking questions, and I realized like it's so different explaining that technology to this generation that aren't. At least I grew up in the car listening to radio when I would go to school or go to practices or games or things like that. And like the idea of, rabbit ears on a TV or, listening to the radio in the car and even a landline telephone, like is so foreign to some of the current generations that, I think there's an actual need to try to explain something as fundamental as what is radio, like what are radio waves, like what is this kind of communication, and so I think it's fantastic. He's doing that. There's a void
So,
there.
Mike, you touched on something that just recently came to fruition at my house, right? And so I'm homeschooling, and now I made a deal with my son this summer. And he wanted a $25 video game, right? And so I was like, okay, listen, if you take the technician test and pass, then I'll pay for your video game. And I'll pay for your testing fee. I'll pay for the FCC fee is free because he's 14. But I was like, if you do that, then I'll pay for it. And so he started doing the ham study, and then now he's a freshman this year. He just started right in the fall. And so in science, he's learning about wavelengths and circuits. And I'm like, does any of this look familiar? He's like, Dad, all this stuff is from the ham stuff. Yep. I'm like, yes, because it's all basic knowledge. Like, freshmen in high school are learning the same stuff that there is on the technician exam. Yep.
My oldest son has said multiple times, like what he had
Cheers,
to learn in advance with between math, physics, science.
One, Paul.
Oh boy, that one's full.
It's helped. So I've killed. I'm going to kill 2 bottles tonight. So.
Oh boy.
This one's empty.
I'm on the second can of Spyglass here. So
this is Iron Smoke,
Crown.
a local bourbon.
Ooh.
And then I'm finishing off right now this maple whiskey I got from Canada when I went up with and activated with Vince. So I'm trying to make room.
Maple whiskey.
I got to make room for some scotch now that I got my Live Free and Ham glass.
Way. It's on the way. Yep. I just finished boxing it up.
I gave you a very long list of scotches to choose from.
Yes.
Scotch isn't bad either.
I already put it in my notes app in my phone, so when I go out, but I wanted to get rid of like a couple bottles. But for the record, I purchased the glass before the Black Friday sale. So I purchased the glass at full price. So I'm going to try to use the promo code at the liquor store.
Good luck with that. Sadly, the promo code doesn't actually work on the glasses. So anyway, but good luck with that one.
And I'll just say this, the shout out you guys, because you guys got a fantastic podcast. And if you are not a member in Patreon for like the
thank you again, Mike.
which I just joined, full confession. But I got the notice about the Black Friday deal, being a member on Patreon. So, Live Free and Ham's an awesome podcast, and definitely encourage you to support them by at least subscribing. If not, if you can, hop on Patreon. So
I appreciate it.
Yep.
So to circle back on this whole conversation with like ham radio with the younger generation and whatnot, I had a Turkey Day moment where my sister-in-law, who she's a school teacher or basically a teaching degree, but she teaches reading and stuff like that. And she had asked me why I do ham radio. And of course, my wife started laughing in the background, as she always does. But, she wanted me to explain it to her so she could understand it, because she listens to our podcast, but it all kind of goes a little bit over her head and whatnot. But she loves hearing it because, she gets to hear a relative and her brother-in-law, hammer on about something he loves to talk about. And so we started talking about it, but she's like, I really want to understand it because I've been watching, what is it? The Steve Martin Netflix movie, the one with, what is it called? Oh my gosh! Why am I drawing a blank?
Murders in the building. Because
yes,
they have ham radio in this season. Yeah,
they had ham radio in it, and she's like, "Well, what's AM?" And I'm like, "Well, man, I should have been wearing Mike's shirt." But at the same time, I was like trying to describe, and so like I think I got across to her because she was like, "Oh wow, it sounds like it makes sense." She's like, "Is it only like do you only listen?" And I'm like, "No, there's a whole lot more to the whole aspect of it." And basically, it kind of forced me into a way that I had to explain it like as simple as I possibly could, but still like not make it sound like stupid and weird. And so she kind of came away with it going, "Oh, okay, that sort of makes sense." I don't think she'll get her technician license tomorrow, but it's at least one of those things that I was like kind of, oh, all right, I got to experience like making ham radio make sense to even myself, to someone who had no idea.
Yeah,
all right, Eric, how do you feel about another giveaway?
Explanation
Another giveaway?
of what it is.
Giveaway.
All right,
Do it.
Okay, let's kick it off. What do you want to do? So we're doing
we're giving away
the knife
Paul's
giveaway.
hat.
All right. So
yes, this one's a good one.
We got an EvaTac. This is a emergency survival knife, and it's brand new. But so you got a seatbelt cutter, you got a glass breaker, and then you got a nice, real big blade. And this is brand new in the box with all the warranty information and everything.
Paul's fingerprints all over it, so if you handle it with gloves.
There we go. Okay, so we are going to use the keyword murder weapon. Pound sign, all lowercase. Murder weapon, MURDER weapon, all one word there in the chat. If you want to get in on that knife and you want to get on the giveaway, use murder weapon in the chat, and we'll run it in a couple of minutes. Chris says perfect for my vehicle. I don't know why it'd be perfect for your vehicle, but
Want to keep in
Mike,
the vehicle.
N8YO, it's the hash symbol, not the at.
Yeah. We'll slow it down for you. Pound sign.
Throwdown weapon.
Seatbelt cutter. Nice.
Now, at some point in the very near future, I am going to do an EDC video because I know we've been talking about it a lot, EDC and what do you carry in your pockets, and there are certain things that like I just do not leave the house without having them in my pockets. And of course my wife thinks I'm a nut because like one of those things is a flashlight, right? Like, but what do you do when you need to see? So, you need a flashlight.
I need my glasses first, but yeah.
The Benchmade.
Oh, Benchmade? You rich motherfucker. This is Kershaw. So sweet.
Yep. The utility buck knife for utility cutting, opening, carving an apple, whatever. The flashlight. And then the Benchmade is not for cutting anything other than humans.
Well, so, and then, all right, you got to have a pen. So this is a Write in the Rain.
Yep, I recognize that.
I absolutely love these pens. I used to be Space Pens, And the thing with space pens is space pens are expensive,
Yes.
right? And so when you lose a pen in your pocket because you loaned it out to somebody, you don't want to lose a $20 pen. So these Right in the Rains, I think you get them like 3 for 15, something like that.
That's not bad.
You always have to have some chapstick because the wife needs it.
Especially if you kiss a lot of ass. But anyway.
I was about to say.
And when one lighter is not enough, you have two.
Where's the Zippo? Come on. Really? You call yourself a lighter, man?
All right, listen.
I
carried a Zippo
I know,
for
disposables.
years.
Yeah. I love my Zippo.
For years. The thing with the Zippos is they dry out and the fluid is no good. So this is a Clipper Mini. And the great thing about these is they're refillable and they are reflintable. So you can put a new flint in it. If the flint wears out, you can put new fluid in it. If the fluid runs out, they're really small. I carry the bright one because obviously it's in my pocket. If I drop it, I want to be able to find it easy. And then you can't beat the old standby Bic.
True. Yeah, see, I didn't see anybody have any of their Scout issued Swiss Army knives. Come on. This was an Eagle Scout gift.
How much does that weigh?
This is a beast. So I keep this in my hiking bag because in essence it's so heavy in comparison to something as light as like this, which is in my pocket all the time. But this is hey, you get your Eagle Scout, you kind of get one of these issued. When I was in my Boy Scouts, my troop was giving these out to the Eagle Scouts. So I've had this for like 20 plus years.
Is that the Champ XL? Is that what that is?
It's one of their top of the lines. It's got literally like everything from the toothpick to the traditional corkscrew, like at Boy Scout's going to be opening up a bottle of wine, but it's got all of it. It's crazy. Like the sad part with a Swiss Army knife is that you can't use really all of it because like it's always at a weird angle, and you're worried about like pushing too hard and it's going to stab you back, or so it just kind of comes more decorative than it does actually useful.
I am like a huge Victorinox. Like
those are
knives
good.
were my passion before ham radio and and stuff. So, but no, I have this is the, let's see here. Where's the,
put it in front of your shirt. There you go. Yep.
So yeah, this is the Winter Magic. So this is their limited edition, 2024 one that just came. It's perfect timing because they come out in October, right before my birthday. So it's always my birthday gift to me is to buy, the limited edition. Like, and I jokingly say, like, being a knife fan, like there's no safe queens. Like I use my stuff. Like, so as soon as, I get those, like I'll carry them, I'll use them. I don't just put it away in the safe or anything. It's
nope.
Use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't use it, man, what's the point of having a knife?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. 100%. Mine are all utility.
Yep.
Like I don't buy knives because they're expensive and they're a fancy brand. I buy them because they hold up and they're durable and I can resharpen them 1,000 freaking times.
I don't know. I've got some Jesse Davis custom knives that are like Damascus hand forged, one of a kind. That one of them stays in safe, one of them stays over in the HF area, but they're pretty knives.
Pretty.
So, shall we run the drawing there, my friend?
All right, yeah. Let's give this knife away. Somebody's going to be happy with it.
This is for the knife, guys. Let's draw.
Oh,
Tony again.
Rigged,
oh man!
rigged.
Wow. So we rerunning it? We rerunning it, Tony? Are you going to be nice and throw it back into the pool, or are you gonna hold on to it?
What do you say there? What do you say there, Tony? You want somebody else to win the
pass
the
it
knife?
forward, pay it forward.
We'll give him a second to throw it in the chat there.
Sounds good. Everyone's already congratulating him.
Yeah. Tony says run it again.
Run it again. All right, we're running it again here. Trent
There we
Smith.
go, Trent.
There we go. He's got a radio and a knife now.
Well, he actually won the knife.
He won the
Yeah.
knife, but yes, he's got the radio. I mean, it's a win-win-win across the way. Cool. Trent.
Yep. I agree. CRTK or CRKT has some really good knives.
Oh, for sure.
So-
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Trent, if you could just grab that link at the very top of the posted or pinned at the top of the chat and just fill that form out there. We'll make sure we get all your contact info, and Paul can get that knife out to you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a little big. I wouldn't probably carry it every day, but to have it in your bag or in your car.
Mhm.
Put the
it's a
latex
great knife.
gloves on before you open the package. That way,
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely got my fingerprints on it, but it's new otherwise.
Cool.
I think Paul's favorite word for Weekend Warriors is debauchery. He likes that word.
I do
Not hedonism.
like a little debauchery. Yeah.
I don't even know
Oh,
if I can spell it.
Chris is right there in your
Can't.
camp, Eric.
But-
Swiss Army knife, 25
Yeah.
years.
Man, it's like one of those things. It's like, there'll be the roaches when the world finally just gets, exploded by the big bang there, and Swiss Army knives will be left in the roaches. That's pretty much what's it.
Well, I
I
will
thought-
say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, those Maxpedition little bags.
Mhm.
So I have one that I keep in my radio bag, and it's got incidental type stuff. It's got a couple connectors in case I need them. It's got a big Sharpie in case I need to write my name on something. But it does have a Swiss Army knife in there. So I do carry a Swiss Army knife in the radio bag.
The minis, I've got a couple of those in the Jeep and in the safe and a couple other places because they're handy. You've got the tweezers, the toothpick, a blade, and a file on it, and
Fucking James.
Yeah.
Always thinking.
Yeah, Joe Brett, I will definitely, I'll give the knife a good wipe down before I send it out.
Of all prints.
Is just clean it with rubbing alcohol.
We'll even burn it. We'll even scrape off the serial number. if there
rubbing
is one.
alcohol doesn't work. Use bleach.
So we were talking like EDC bags earlier, and so today we were up at my wife and I were up in Maine because the dog needed to get some running out for being at the beach. So we stopped by the trading post up there. If everyone knows, it's a big kind of like EMS kind of, or we'll say more geared towards Cabela's, that kind of style. But I was looking for my EDC bag because I'm particular about my EDC bag. Like, what's everyone's EDC bag look like? Because Paul, you must carry one. I know you guys other carry one, and like, is it complex or is it just simple? Like, because that's my problem. Is I was struggling for like, do I want more pockets or do I just want like a couple of like inserts and be done with it?
Well, so Eric, all right, what do you consider an EDC bag? Because
Everyday
like,
carry. So I'm carrying like stuff like first aid kit, maybe my laptop, kind of on and off, also a sundry of like, obviously things that would need like maybe an emergency or, whatever, as well as, pens, paper, that type of stuff.
All right. So I've got a multitude of EDC, right? So Watson, my service dog, he has pouches on his vest. And in his
I don't have a dog. If I put pouches on my dog, he'll be like sitting on the floor, and I'll like be still probably
dog is
problem
like
solving.
this Paul's seen both my boys. They're one's 19 pounds, one's 20 pounds.
I have a white Bichon. It's not
they
a
don't carry
dog.
much.
It's a fluffy cat.
Watson's about 80 pounds. But in his pouches, he's got one pouch that's for me. It's got Band-Aids, and it's got a notebook and a spare pen, and tissues. And the other one has got like shit bags and a collapsible bowl and stuff for him. But in the truck, I have a get home bag.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the get home bag is if I'm out and the truck breaks down, something, the roads are all closed. I cannot physically drive my truck back to my house.
Sure.
And I take that backpack, and that backpack has everything that I would need to survive for up to a week.
But is that technically everyday carry, the way I kind of understand the term?
I mean, it's every day in my truck.
I keep
Okay,
it in the Jeep.
But so I have similar setups, but like I have a permanent setup in the back of my bed of my truck that's basically in a locked box that I have for all these sundry items of spare batteries and, extra flashlights and that type of stuff, that if we ever get into a place where we're stuck and I need that, I can pull that bag and I'm good to go. But like, I'm thinking like, okay, I leave every day from the house. Like I take something with me. And, that backpack, I'm thinking like, I like to be able to be prepared, like when, the moment, we'll say, God forbid, strikes and someone actually gets injured, having a first aid kit in a bag with me. That's kind of what I'm thinking in terms of backpack portability, not so much like specific area, I guess, is where I'm kind of targeting.
Well, you should have first aid everywhere. I mean, I've got 3 full first aid kits, and I mean full, good trauma shears, quality trauma shears, tourniquet, suture kit. One of the kits has a stapler. Yeah, I love that, James. Freaking anything else you can acquire.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, hey, if you got ammo, you're good.
Smart, right?
It's like money.
And to touch on what Sean said there, mentioned Faraday cage. 100%, Sean. I have a bag. It's a Faraday bag, and currently my 706 that belongs in that bag is out on loan. But I keep 706 in there. I keep spare capacitors of all sorts of varieties and sizes, and resistors of all varieties and sizes. Anything that I think I would need to fix or repair, anything that gets electronically damaged. But yeah, so back to the EDC bag, I guess, though, right? Like, I mean, if I'm going somewhere where I am going to carry a bag, I'll do the sling bag.
Yeah, I can't do that, but yeah, I get it.
Well, all right, but hear me out. So that sling bag, it's got a pouch on the backside for my gun. So I carry a Glock 43X, and then
43X MOS.
Yeah, a couple extra mags.
Squirt gun.
I'd like to see your squirt gun face off with my 43X and see who wins.
We'll lose. Please, you need to answer for that.
But yeah, no, I mean that bag like would just be extras, because otherwise, like the majority of my shit that I would need is in my truck, and it's in a bag ready to grab and go.
See, James is basically just adhering to the Chuck Norris approach to life.
Yeah. Whether I'm in her truck or my Jeep, I've got a My Medic, the bigger bag, which has tourniquet and everything that you could need for trauma, and then usually got something else in both vehicles, and always carrying the 43X MOS, which is enough to get me to the vehicle, and then it's a little bit better fight.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like, so kind of my thoughts of my EDC bag, and it sounds like it's either a little bit way to the left or way to the right. I'm thinking like, I have a smaller, 20,000 amp hour, quick charge PD charger for, battery bank, for like charging stuff. I'll have a radio in there, and, I'm kind of thinking what I'm going to put in there quite now, because I've got a couple of like FT65s and stuff like that, as well as my 3DR and a few others. And then I'm thinking first aid kit, pens, pencils, all this sundry stuff. But then I'm like, what other things that I'm kind of going through that would just use for everyday use, but like both on the level of like, hey, you need this, I can provide it more, or, hey, said emergencies happened, I have that available. And so I'm kind of treading that line.
Okay, here's one thing that you should have in your bag is a folding saw.
A what? Oh, folding saw?
Yes.
What are you amputating?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose you could use it for
I was gonna say.
amputations, but
Okay.
no. Makeshift shelters. If you're going from your vehicle and you're trying to make it home, if you can't make it home in one trip, one day, you're going to have to set up an improvised shelter, and you're going to have to find shelter.
Mhm.
So, folding saws don't take up a lot of space. They're relatively light.
Which type are you using? The straight blade or the flexible chainsaw blade?
No, so mine's a Fisker's straight blade.
See, I switched from that to the flexible chainsaw blade that sort of rolls up and fits
Yeah,
in a
I've
little.
got one of those.
It's in the Jeep.
Yeah, pull saw.
And so it's a pull
Those things
saw.
work well. Yeah. Big boys got used to that one.
So we were talking about something the other day, and I realized that I have entirely too many HTs.
You think?
Well, Steven, let's give some away.
I have 22 HTs.
Are those all
I'm like-
Quanchangs?
That's what happens when you feed them after midnight.
No.
I know, right? Exactly. You're crossbreeding? What's wrong with you?
Oh, this is probably my favorite.
Wow, that's a good radio.
I mean, you can't beat a good 6-meter HT.
Especially if you want to use it as a weapon.
Well, and my oldest, who's 27, that was his. If you get your technician license and pass it, I will give you a VX8. And so I had to buy him a VX8.
Sounds like you just need to buy one of those crane machines and pour all your HTs in there, and then you just kind of like pull out for the day which one you want to use.
Well, that's the thing about ham radio that we were talking about, is each one has a purpose. You've got your digital, you've got your DMR, you've got your 220, you've got your 440 and your 2-meter. There's not a one size fits all solution for mobile ham radio.
Yep. And I think, did you say earlier, Steve, you had, oh shoot, now I'm going to bring it back to ham radio, but did you, you said you had a 991A, or you used a 991A? Yeah. Like
it's over there on the HF side of the garage.
All band, all mode radios, I absolutely love. And I used the 991A not too long ago for really cool island activation. But like, you realize even these all-in-ones, they're not perfect. Like that's why you need, some specialization, whether it's antennas or radios or knives or flashlights or whatever it is. Like, there's no one size fits all. It'll work, but it's not perfect.
We've all been hams long enough that when we meet new hams and they go, I just want the one radio, we all kind of laugh inside going, yeah, good luck with that, buddy, because it's just not going to happen.
Well, I mean, you can start with one.
You can,
the
but
706 Mark II-G, and it'll go from there.
Well, we've got a president in our club who is a great friend of us, and we all know him well, Ralph, KC1TOY, and he is what we call our Quanchang dealer, because he's literally put every one of the guys in the club on a Quanchang, and it's always been like, now he's just going, like, we go to Wednesday morning breakfast and he shows up, he's just like, oh, I just sold 4 Quanchangs to like these guys over here on Black Friday sales. Yeah, see, there we go.
If you haven't gone to AliExpress and bought a $15 radio that you can do all kinds of mods to, I mean, these things will do 220, sideband, all kinds. I mean, if you can program it and do the hacks on it, they'll do just about anything.
Make Superior's emissions great again.
Yeah. It's a great little radio for $15-$20.
And that's part of what being a ham's all about, is just, RF around and find out, just.
Yeah.
Another one. There we go. Man, I got to keep this notepad up.
I'm just here for the t-shirt ideas.
To sidetrack, Amazon had a spectrum analyzer, one of the tiny essays. $59 on Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
I
Although
just
heard
won
you have
one.
to watch out for
I
that,
just
right?
won one actually, and it just got delivered. So
Oh,
I'm
sweet.
looking forward to using it. My attenuator just came a couple days ago, so I as soon as I got it, I'm like, I got to buy a attenuator for it. But I'm looking forward to trying that out for the first time.
Well, that's where Ape and Tio are going to get a little bit of credit because, I also did the Black Friday on the Tiny SA Ultra with the attenuator.
Okay, so you got the Ultra,
the combo kit.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been watching it, watching it. I got to get it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're at the quarter of the hour, top of the second hour of tonight. So we're on the marathon here. We're getting close to Josh, but we're not really quite there yet. You know, different focus, but either way.
All
so
right,
we're gonna do another giveaway.
Yeah. Who wants a Live Free and Ham shirt that has my favorite saying on it? Right. And what is my favorite saying? Ham radio makes me feel dumb every day, and that's okay. It's always something new to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna give away one of those shirts. The last one we gave away of my shirts. Kevin K0 KLB. He won that. Yeah,
awesome. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, he was super excited. He sent me an email. He's like, "Oh my god, it's great! It fits. It's perfect."
Got it on the first try, as they say. All right. Well, we're going to use the keyword "I feel dumb" and put that all caps in the chat there if you want to get a Live Free and Ham t-shirt. If those that want to check it out, we'll pull it up here real quick so folks know what it looks like here. Just give me a second here. Shop. But yeah, that is one of our popular shirts on the shop for sure. And is always a big seller because, you know, heck, we all feel dumb sometimes when we do ham radio.
Yes, Sean. Will you buy too many radios? Should be a question on the exam.
Yeah, guaranteed. All right.
At least a technician exam, because yes, you will buy more radios.
Yeah, your first radio definitely will not be your last.
No, not by any.
Yeah, there
so
we go.
For those that have not seen it, this is the Ham Radio Makes Me Feel Dumb Every Day, and That's Okay t-shirt. It's a very popular shirt for sure in our store. You know, we love it, and you know, we profess it, man. That's just what it is. It's just good stuff. So
yeah, and if you win, please let me know the color and size that you would like, so that way you get exactly what you want.
Sadly, no, sorry. But here, I will post the link in the chat there if you want to go check those colors out. And that way you can find what you're looking for. And so these, just keep a note that these are cotton. So, you know, obviously once you throw them in the dryer, if your wife's not smart enough to, you know, or you do your own laundry, then, you know, no written warranties expressed or implied there. So you may shrink it, but, you know, just think big, larger sizes if you're a bigger guy like myself. So,
well, so I'll tell you, right? I'm a tall, skinny guy, but I wear an XL for shirts, and I need the XL for the length because otherwise it ends up kind of like coming untucked all the time, and it's
crop
kind of
top
pain. This shirt, I will say, it did not shrink at all. The none of the writing, the screen printing on it has faded at all, and I've washed mine a ton. Unfortunately, my quirky QRP do you even POTA bro shirt, it has not fared as well to the washes, and so I'm gonna have to get another one of those because the words POTA is almost gone.
Just Po.
Do you even, bro?
Yeah, right, exactly. All right, let's go back to here.
That's one thing that I have yet to do. Aaron and I have talked about it. I have done lots of activations or hunting from the house, but I've not done an activation yet.
Oh.
Well, Steven, get an activation
get out and do it
before we do the Taconic Ridge Park.
So, Steve, this is what I recommend, and I do this to every guy and gal who wants to get into POTA. You have the option to do K-Test. I know it's not like widely advertised, but what K-Test is you can go out in your backyard and you can set up your entire shack, whatever you want to do in terms of what you're going to do for your POTA when you go do an activation, test it all out, and you can call CQ POTA K-test, or it would be US test, I think is what it is called now, for the park. And hunters will get credit for you in terms of their logs, but you can practice testing in, without having to go all the way out to the park and forget your coax cable or battery or whatever. You can kind of work out the kit, and then you're ready for your actual full activation, and that way you're much more successful when you get out there. And I recommend that everybody who does it, and everybody comes back to me and says, that is the best thing I ever did, because I know I was able to go back in the house and get the mic I forgot, or the connector or whatever. And, it just helps them kind of, give that little extra leg up.
I have to tell my dumb ham story because, as Paul says,
we all have one.
We all have one. So I have been out. We do here in Knoxville. We've got East Tennessee has a huge ham community, and we are blessed with repeater owners and repeaters and POTA spots and POTA people. Well, we've done 2 POTA paloozas here in Knoxville, where 2 of our local hams set up at a local park and invite everybody to show up and run everything. First one, I tried FT8. I had some problems with the laptop and the setup. I didn't make any contacts, but it was more about the face-to-face QSOs, talking to everybody from the area that came up, getting to meet people. I've heard N1OG for a long time, but I've never actually met and shook Paul's hand. So the face-to-face QSO was great. The last one, Aaron and I went up, we set up, I had everything out. Man, if you look at Flag and Torch Society's page, there's an awesome photo of me sitting there with the setup, the bag, and I've got a off-center fed dipole up. Well, I did not pay attention to the settings on the 891, and if you're not paying attention, there is a deep menu setting that switches or allows you to switch from lower sideband to upper sideband automatically depending on the band. So I was on the band, I heard people, I could never tune them in because I was on 10 meters and 20 meters lower, and I didn't realize it. Well, once I finally, a couple of days later, figured out that, hey, make sure that you've got all of your settings in your radio right, so that when you're on 20 meters or 10 meters, you're on upper sideband, not lower sideband. Those voices,
That'll do it.
they're right there. I can hear him, but I can't get. He's not hearing. Man, I felt so stupid. I was like,
shit happens. Shit happens.
That's the thing about ham radio is going out, trying it, figuring out what your mistakes were, not giving up, and keep going.
Yep.
See, I thought you were going to go a total other way with this, and you were.
Me too. I was like,
yeah, it was like Woodstock, but with ham radio. Everybody was doing LSD and making contacts.
Hey, now the next day. The next day, once I figured it out, I took the wife to Walmart, and I'm sitting in the Walmart parking lot making contacts to Brazil and Puerto Rico, and I was like, okay, now I like this. So,
I did another POTA on 7.2 back in the summer. When we were, I was testing out an antenna with one of my friends, and we tuned.
Is there a repeat offender award for 7.200? I'm just curious.
I might be in line for it too. I tuned it, and it all went to. It's all captured on video. I have the video up, and you see, it's like he realized, he's like, oh, you're on 7.2. You tuned up. I'm like, yes, and he's like, oh, you want to activate? And I was like, want to do it? Let's do it. Like. I'm like, you don't hear anything in the background. Like, I'm like, the frequency is actually clear. and we call out a couple times. I'm like, come on, let's do this. And we did it.
Mm-hmm.
And the first call comes in, and we're calling for a minute or so. I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, like, where are these guys? Where's 7-2? And first call comes in. He's like, hey, I don't do POTA, but you're on upper sideband. And so we were on, so I still logged him. And so I'm probably like one of the few people that has an upper sideband contact for POTA on 7.2 megahertz. But like he was very polite. He's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is why we're not hearing anybody, or they're not hearing us. But we persisted through. We got the contacts. We got it activated. But
here's an
mistakes
interesting
happen. Like you
It
realize,
does.
like, oops, like I screwed up. I
So-
should have paid attention to my radio.
So
It's
I
the
just
small
got my
things.
I got my general like right before COVID. So I was like all gung ho trying to get out and do POTAs, and I was enjoying playing in the general space. And then I was like, all right, I'll go test and get my extra. So I got my extra, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just spin down in the extra portion of the band. And for the life of me, I was sitting, like, I didn't pay attention to what part of the extra portion I was in, but I was sitting in the CW section calling CQ POTA. And that's like a big no-no by any stretch of the imagination. So, like, I was like there for an hour calling CQ POTA, CQ POTA. No one's answering me. I'm not hearing anything. No CW signals at all whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, so one ham saw me on the spotting page and was like, I thought this was a mistake at first. But he ended up, spinning down to where I was sitting in the CW section and was like, dude, you're in the CW section. You need to get out of this in order to be able to like actually like make a contact, because no one's going to come down to that level no matter what. And I was like, oh man, this is just really embarrassing because I'm an extra. And if anything, I should have known where that was and didn't pay attention because I didn't bring my little, graph of where I was supposed to be in the band plan. But yeah, we all do it, man. That's crazy.
And I think it's one of the best things about operating portable, period, is that when you operate portable, I always say that there's always an opportunity to learn. You learn maybe like what trees at what parks are good for setting up an antenna based on how long the antenna is, or how long your coax is, how close the picnic table is, and things like that. So, like more advanced things about like, what's a better setup for a particular antenna, or what bands are good to use, what times a day, and things like that. You learn by getting out there and doing.
Yeah.
And we all make mistakes. I make mistakes probably almost every activation, whether it's a stupid logging error to like being able to like sometimes forgetting to plug the coax into the radio, and it's like, why are the bands dead?
Or forgetting your antenna altogether.
Whether we admit it or not, we've all done these things, but that it's learning opportunity. So instead of looking at these things, and I'm listening to one of the more recent podcasts right now, and you talked about a failure on an activation on vacation or this or that. You only got so many contacts.
Don't bring that one up.
And I'm like, but there's no failed activations. It's not a failure. It's just incomplete. Learn from it, move on.
Everything is a learning experience, because like the hurricane a couple of months ago. So I am on the west side of the Appalachian Mountains here in Tennessee.
Okay.
So most of the storm hit the east side of the Appalachians on the North Carolina side. Some of it came over, and the northern part of East Tennessee was hit really hard. But everything is within that little bitty range. And so we had two repeaters in the area, one W4KEV, a local repeater owner, had one up in Greenville, Tennessee, that he had up on generator and batteries. And then Mount Mitchell had theirs up on the North Carolina side. Those were the two big repeaters that were up. And everything else was, if you wanted HF, it's too close in. So that's when I started setting up the Jeep with an Invis antenna. So I now have a quick mount on the front bumper for a 20 meter and a 40 meter Invis antenna, so that I can get that in range, because Asheville is within that range of, if you're at 20 meters or 40 meters, you're not going to get them on a regular antenna. So it's all about having things and learning from them.
Yep.
So here's a question. Before we do that, I was going to ask a question in a second, and so you guys could think about it. Have you ever gotten to a point where like you were so gung ho about like every time you did a POTA activation, you had to make sure you had 10 contacts? Have you gotten to the place now where you're like reconciling with yourself? It's like, hey, if I don't get 10 contacts, I'm like okay with that. So hold that thought for real quick. Let's do I feel dumb here and put that to an end here. So. Well, let's do a quick drawing. This again is for, as I'm looking at my spreadsheet here, man. For the T-shirt, I feel dumb.
Live Free and Ham.
Yep.
Live Free and Ham shirt.
All right, let's run the machine here.
And then stick with us because the big giveaway, the Giga Parts Explorer bag is coming.
Aaron
All
P,
right, congrats,
you are the
Aaron.
winner. Aaron, if you could, at the very top, wow, we're getting into the bigger budget here, so we got some audio, soundboard tracks here. So, Aaron, if you could, if there's a link at the very top of the chat pinned, go ahead and fill in that form there, so we can make sure we get all your info, and Paul can get that T-shirt to you.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Awesome. Wear it with pride, Aaron. Let me know the color and size, please.
Yep.
That way you don't get one that's the wrong color and too small.
The wrong size, yep. So back to the question. So have you guys all reconciled with yourself? Like you're okay with failed activations?
Dude, there is no such thing as a failed activation.
A failed activation.
Well, according to POTA, they use the word failed.
No.
I have never and will never fail an activation.
Well,
I will stay there all day if I have to.
I want to point out one thing for all of the me and newer hams, because I've only been a ham for 4 years, a little over 4, but for POTA, you don't have to go anywhere or have anything. All you need to do is go to pota.app, sign up for an account, and hunt.
Yep.
You can spin the dial, search for people, talk to them, and it's not much of a conversation. It's throwing out your call sign 5 or 10 times until they answer you and say KO4JJU. And then you answer back, and that's it. They do all the work. They go in, they log it, and you get credit for it. So starting out as a hunter is so easy. All you have to do is set up an account and push that little button.
And some hunters, when you sign up, you might be surprised. You might already have awards in there. You're going to already have, because again, it's not on the hunter. This is all on the activator. We're the ones that are, or activators like me and anyone else that's doing it. We're the ones that got to worry about submitting the log and uploading that. And so you might sign up and find out, oh my gosh, you already got a few contacts. You might already have a few awards. Who knows?
Yeah. I was super surprised when I first signed up for POTA. Like I had no idea that I had ever hunted POTA stations.
Yeah.
And then once I signed up, it was like, oh no, you've already done all this cool shit. So I was like, oh, all right.
Well, it's so funny thing is like, so I my job kind of dictates how I do POTA a lot of times. So in essence, if I'll go out to a site or I'll go out to like activate a park, I usually have like about an hour or so. And, if the bands aren't cooperating, we'll say, or whatever, I used to be like, I would wait, like Paul said, wait till I get like 11 contacts. Then I know I've got the park secured and it's like locked in. I kind of like have decided that I'm okay with the fact that I came up with like maybe 4 or 5 contacts instead of 10. Like an example is, and Mike was alluding to it, the Support Your Parks weekend video that I kind of did on my channel where I ended up, having to bail because I brought the wrong transformer to my end-fed half-wave and I brought the dipole transformer instead of the end-fed half-wave version. So after getting it all up in the tree and having everybody look at me and stare at me at the park I was at while I'm doing all this stuff, I ended up having to tuck tail and go back to the truck and activate HF there. I only got like 5 contacts. And so, from that, I was like, those 5 contacts were important to somebody to make contact with me. So yeah, I'm going to submit the log. But yeah, I didn't successfully activate the park, but I've kind of come to grips with that. Like, it's like okay for me, because in essence, because of my time frame, my time allotment that I had available, I couldn't let the family who was sitting in the truck like wait longer for me to get those extra 5 contacts, because they don't understand. Like, it's not like I'm gonna be able to just magically get 5 contacts in 3 seconds. So I was just curious to see what people's thoughts on that.
And one thing that I've learned is that we've got a couple of POTA guys around here that are just fiends. Jeremy, KC8 LUB, just got his kilo in one of the local parks around here. Is you don't have to get your 10 contacts on 10 meters. You can get 2 on 10, another 2 on 15, 20, and 40 to get your 10 contacts on all the bands. So it's not just one band that you have to get 10 contacts. It's 10 contacts in that park, not just on one band. So that was something that for a long time I didn't know, and sort of kept me from going to a park and trying. And now that I've been to 3 parks and failed 3 different times, Aaron and I will eventually get out and do a park and activate.
Well, so yeah, I mean, like you could get 2 or 3 contact sideband, right? And say, I don't know, we got blasted with geomagnetic energy, and just the bands are dead, right? Well, then you switch to FT8 and you finish out your activation. As long as you total the 10 within the early shift, late shift, regular shift, right? Then you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll throw this out there for fun, and it might ruffle some feathers and stuff, but
do it. That's what this channel's about.
I mentioned, like, I like going out for POTA and soda during the VHF contests and whatnot, and there's POTA, but then there's also the contest aspect and whatnot, and a buddy of mine who likes, participating, does some VHF stuff, but loves POTA too. We both went out to a 3-fer. Being in New York, I work like just a couple miles from a 3-fer for POTA, and we went to a 3-fer for POTA because I was chasing after the 6-pack award, and he came out and just like 2 parking spaces away. We both hopped on 6 meters and made contacts on 6 meters AM,
I like
FM,
James's contact,
and SSB. So that's 3 different modes on 6 meters, but it gets multiplied by 3 because it's a POTA 3-fer as far as POTA. So we get on, and within like a couple seconds, I'm giving him 9 contacts, and then he stuck around, made a couple contacts, hunted a couple parks, and then packed up. It was January. It was absolutely freezing. And, I went home and I stuck around and just kept going on all different modes for the VHF contest. But, you can easily activate, you don't have to be stuck with one band or one mode. You can. Yeah.
Mike, you are 100% correct, but I got to say, listen, we need to do this. We need to get paintball guns and radios.
I'm waiting for that.
And we'll all go out to the park and we'll spread out. And it'll be like, CQ, 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 CQ. Can anybody hear me?
Well, it combines.
Just like Mike is a gold mine of T-shirt ideas, James is a gold mine of POTA like ideas. So it's crazy.
It combines fox hunting with POTA. I'm finding you.
I'm making contact. Here's my color.
Oh yeah.
I can only imagine how many Rangers would have a heyday with that.
5 reds, 2 blues equals a contact.
Double. Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
We're 10 after 11.
Yep.
It's getting a little bit late. Let's do the grand prize giveaway. All right.
Yeah.
Hold on. I even got it right here. The Gigaparts Explorer bag with 2 of these
Ooh.
Explorer little utility bags. use this
Organization
bag.
all in one bag.
It's a great bag. It is not for doing very, very long summit hikes. If you're gonna use it as your POTA bag and you're not doing more than a 1.5 mile, 2 mile hike, it's a great bag. Fantastic. You're gonna love it. So that is the grand prize tonight. The Gigaparts Explorer bag. Eric, come up with some fucking. There we go.
Not a hiking bag, my friend. Guaranteed. Proven by N1OG.
Not a
love
hiking bag.
It is
I
a
love
good
it.
bag. I will give him that. It's a nice bag if you want to do a POTA, which requires you to move 10 feet from your car to the bed, picnic bench. But do not hike with the damn thing, man. Do not hike with the damn thing unless you have a vendetta.
I will say that this is the bag that I use to do the soda
Oh,
with the Yaesu FT or 710.
710.
So I did
Ooh.
40 pounds. I weighed it on camera.
Oh, that's painful.
Fortunately, it was only a 20-minute hike up. It was easy. It's a
That's the
one-pointer.
longest 20-minute hike that you've ever done, Mike.
Ooh.
Yeah, and for anyone,
Tony.
if you do win it, I think Gigaparts still has 50% off
Yep.
on a lot of the Explorer pouches and stuff. And
Tony's not
I
hiking
don't think they
anywhere.
make one for the 710.
Yeah, that was the funny
7300
thing.
would work fine.
Like I thought HRO20's live stream, somebody would have thrown the Explorer backpack out there as a kind of let's make a deal on it, but it didn't happen. So it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Signaling shows. Once again, James. Go big or go home, right? Oh man. Wow, Josh stream is still going strong, my friend. Yeah, they're big at it. If you haven't headed over there to check that out for sure.
Mhm.
Josh is doing some awesome stuff over there with the Learning Institute and Steve stuff. So it's good to see folks are helping out over there and K Murder's over there too as well.
The
If I'm not
telethon to beat all
mistaken-
telethons.
Yeah, they're doing a donation for learning and teaching.
Institute.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. They're trying to beat last year's goal or last year's whatever the hell I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, and the ARRL did say that they would match up to a certain point the money raised. So it's definitely a very worthy cause over there.
Mhm.
And I appreciate everybody that's taking time away from Josh's live stream to come over here to, my lowly 2,000 subscriber feed.
It's all fun and games. So, hey, if we're all done, once we're all done with this stuff, head over to Josh's to support that too as well. So good deal. Oh, we're at 9 on the bag there. Let's drop that in the
9?
background.
Oh,
Yeah, come on.
That's
We
pathetic.
still-
Marine level.
we got-
Move up to the Army level.
Man, we got 24 in the chat there. Again, put in not a hiking bag, all lowercase, all one word, pound time. If you're interested in getting the Explorer backpack there,
What the hell did James say? Definitely not a hiking bag, but
could work as a something mode bag.
I don't know.
Is it a low EDC bag? Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
Who is
The
Josh?
funny thing with the
Josh,
EDC bags,
What is Josh's call sign? Because I can't remember.
KI6 NAZ.
NAZ,
Yeah. Ham radio crash course?
crash course.
Or-
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yep. Yeah, there's still about 400 people over there last time I was taking a peek at the chat. So they're going strong pretty well, and it's awesome stuff. So always good to see you promoting ham radio. I'm all for
There
it.
we go. Joe Brett's got it. More than one device, 2 streams.
That's what the
Thank
2
you, Joe
monitor
Brett.
is that James was talking about, man. He needs more monitors. You're going to need to put HRCC on another one. Get a bigger
I
video
can be
card.
somewhere else and here?
You could. Yeah. Where we're all at.
Well,
So-
Steven is incapable of being in Discord and StreamYard at the same time, so he's a little confused as to how
Hey,
that happened.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You weren't supposed to say that.
Come on, dude.
Hey.
So, Eric,
Listen,
what were you going to say about EDC bags? Now that you've forgotten.
Well, it's funny because like someone mentioned EDC bags
Squirrel.
in terms of the yeah, right, exactly. Damn it. In terms of Explorer backpack, the biggest problem with my EDC bags that I'm looking at is like I want compartments. I want like a lot of different like areas to put like certain items in, like pockets and zipper sections and stuff like that. So I finally found a bag that like was just kind of like you ever go to like sort of, but I wasn't looking military kind of like style. I wasn't looking like 511. I wanted something more backpack kind of style because, you know, of number of reasons, but primarily I was looking for multiple pockets. And the only problem is like a lot of the backpacks have like maybe two main sections. And one of those sections is for like a water, you know, camel pack type thing. And I'm like, whatever. So all I was going to get back is that, you know, the pockets are important for me because I like to be able to section stuff off and, you know, have easy way to, you know, kind of say, oh, this section's for blah, blah, blah. And, you know that I can, that's, I guess basically bottom line is that my EDC bag is going to be applicable to myself and to somebody else. So like if I'm injured or if there's something going on that I need someone to go to my bag, I got to be able to say to like, go to this pocket and they can go into the pocket and find it. You know, a lot of times, like a lot of those backpacks just have just big cavernous, you know, kind of sections. And it's like, I don't want to have to tell someone, oh, grab the yellow bag or grab the smaller pouch that's in blah, blah, blah. And so I'm looking for a bag and I think I found it and ended up being buying a North Face, but oh my God.
This one is a lot of what you're talking about. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pouches. And it's just the Gigaparts tactical sling bag. It's like $15. And
that's my own problems. I don't want a sling pack. That was my only drawback for not going that route. It was a sling. Like
this is
but
my
an awesome
QRP bag.
Awesome
it
bag.
Normally has it's got my throw weight,
Nice.
the infed, the center fed dipole and the QRP rig, and the Explorer. Normally, the Explorer mast sits in there, and it's just small and easy to keep.
Yep.
Yeah, I have that same sling bag.
Yeah, that was one of that and a 511. There's a couple of 511 bags that I was looking at that I was like, dude, those fit the bill 100%. But then I was like, I just need more compartments, and a lot of the 511s were more tactical compartments, and like I just was looking something a little less. So I found a bag. It was actually a North Face bag. I can't remember the name of what it was, but you know, so I'm gonna test that one out a little bit. Hopefully, throw it on my channel, and you know, be able to iron out my we'll call 1.0 EDC bag out because I you know, sorry, I hang around with you guys, and so you're just bleeding over on me, and it's like I'm just like I gotta do this. And so you know, it's one more thing. It's like that's why I'm doing battery boxes back in the if anybody notices, I've got a Redodo battery and a battery case back there. I'm like, what's wrong with me? I'm building battery boxes now. It's like I don't know.
That Redodo 100 amp hour mini.
Good battery.
That's a little powerhouse and a badass little battery.
Mm-hmm. Well, even
right.
like I was.
So, all right, sorry. So since there's been so much talk about guns tonight, all right, I built my AR, and so if anybody wants to see how I built my AR and how it turned out, throw me a comment in the chat real quick. Just let me know. And I'll make that video. I'll show off. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. So I suffer from CRS, so I can't remember where the hell we left off.
We were talking about your bag, man.
I know.
It was EDC stuff.
EDC. So okay. Yeah, I mean
the right side's a little heavier than the left.
Yeah. So bottom line is like I think. I just need you guys to start doing some videos on EDC stuff so I can figure out what I need. That's it. Step up to plate, guys. Come on.
I'll do one. I have like the little Altoids, like the EDC boo boo kits, like set up like for all my POTA bags
Mhm.
and stuff, like and maybe I'll do one on that. And
So here, actually, I got a good question.
Altoids
So here's a
great.
question: How do you guys combat against stealing and robbing Peter to pay Paul from your other bags? That's my biggest problem right now.
That's the hard part.
Multiples.
That's
You have to have multiples. You have to have.
You can end up with a fucking box of 20 radios.
Well, right.
Yeah, but so like, all right, tourniquets. You should have a tourniquet in every single piece of kit you own.
Sure, understood.
So
That's
that
a first
it
aid kind
doesn't-
of thing.
Right, but it's one of those basic things, right? And so, like, when it comes to your everyday carry stuff, you should never, ever, ever go into one bag to take something to put it into another bag that you're going to take with you that day.
True.
If you don't have it in that bag, then you need to buy it
another one.
so that you have it in that bag.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's going to happen is you're going to have your get home bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be all of your shit that you need to get home. And you're going to go, oh, well, I need the radio that's in that bag because I like that radio. And I'm going to take that radio. And so you put that radio in a different bag, and then you go and you do a soda, right? And you forget to put that radio back.
Love it,
Oh my God.
James.
Yes, James.
With the ammo and everything, James, man, I'm curious. We're gonna have to come visit you, James, because that's literally just. I'm curious to see what your home looks like.
And
Yeah,
remember,
so never take from one
napalm
bag.
sticks to kids.
All right, well, so let's
Have
put a pin in
multiples.
that one. Let's see. So we're getting at 20 past here. Let's dive back in here to the giveaway for the bag here. This is the
All right,
big
who
one.
wants it?
So we are going to run the drawing here. Need some build-up music or something.
dun, dun,
Dun, dun,
dun.
dun.
James, head away! He finally wins! James pulls a rabbit out of his ass and wins the EDC bag. James, you let us know if you want to obviously take it or pay it forward, because I'm sure you probably have one. It's up to you.
Take it. Do it.
Yeah, what do you want, James? What do you want?
Stole
James,
from
the
me.
pouches are
Oh,
50%
holy
off
shit
this
is
week.
not
Come on,
an
get
I
them.
answer.
know, dude. You know you want it, James.
Hey, if you want it, just fill out the form. Send me
Yep.
your info.
Yep, exactly. If not, we'll
All right,
throw
James,
it back.
you got it.
He'll take it.
You got
He's
it.
got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, nice job, James. Cool.
Yes.
After contributing so much content and being able to further Paul's channel on going forward, it's the least he could do is passing the
Yeah.
bag on there.
And if you're looking for a reference mat, 100%, go
Yep.
check out James's store. It's on Etsy. It's Quirky QRP. Fantastic stuff on his store.
Good stuff.
The antenna trolley is awesome. If you don't have an
Oh.
antenna trolley, you need
Hold
one.
on. Look at James just says we can give away one of his "Don't Tread on My Frequency"
Wow!
flags.
Holy moly! Wow. Okay, there we go.
All right.
Well then,
All right, run it.
So-
Let's do it.
all right. Well, so let's.
And we'll just send James the info.
Did we
All
put
right.
James'
Thank you so
link
much for
in
that.
the,
That's awesome.
put
That flag
James's
is
link in the comment?
great.
Oh man, I gotta think of a good keyword here.
I'm definitely entering this one.
Hey, you could win too, Mike.
Oh man, I
I got
can't.
the
This is
t-shirt,
so
but I
much
need the
pressure.
flag.
Dude, James says keyword thermite.
put James's link in the comments to his Etsy
It's
store.
spelled not. I was spelling termite, not thermite. All right, here we go. I think I got the spelling right. All right, so the keyword for James's "Don't Tread on My Frequencies" flag is thermite. THERMITE, all lowercase. Go ahead and throw it in there if you want to get in on this wonderful giveaway from James. Appreciate it, James. This is awesome stuff.
Yep. And there's a link to his store in the chat too.
Definitely go head over to Etsy, his Etsy shop for sure. Support him because
I like-
he does
I
some
like
awesome
that
stuff.
flag. That's a cool snake.
It's wicked cool.
Let's
Get off
actually
my frequency, bitch.
let's grab that flag here just so people can see it here.
I gotta say, I don't know why I fucking put this off the way that I did. You know, I was all
'Cause you're a
nervous,
loser.
like, no, seriously though. All right, listen. I like to think I'm a badass motherfucker, and
You are.
and I don't
But anyway.
I don't ever back down from anything. But this YouTube shit, it's a whole new world, you know? And so like I get a little nervous because it's like, well, I don't know. There could be hundreds of people watching me. And what if I say something stupid and they're all going to make fun of me? Well, they're all going to make fun of me anyway, but that's not the point.
When I post something on Reddit and they down thumb me.
Yeah.
Then you know you made it.
Dude, I posted this giveaway on Reddit and it got freaking downvoted. I was like, what the fuck? Hams don't want free shit?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just a fucking guy. And I'm saying, hey, I'm giving away stuff. Come check out my live stream. Right? And they're like, nah, we're going to thumbs down that. We're going to downvote that. Because we're Reddit.
So
When you
there's the
post it
flag,
on
my friends.
4chan,
Yeah, there we go.
That's a cool
That is
flag.
an awesome flag.
Yes, it is.
The only thing that would make that flag more awesome if it was B and C.
Hear us, James? Come on, you hear what we're saying? Make it an antenna. That's all that really matters. Make it antenna.
Yep.
That should have been the keyword. All right.
That's awesome.
Cool. Well, dude,
Yeah.
dude, I have to say it's been awesome. It's been fun. I prefer being the host of Live Free and Ham a lot of times. I'm like running 6 Ways to Sunday, running my own channel on top of it too as well. And Mike knows obviously this very well. You know, when you're doing all of this stuff at once, it just gets crazy fast. But dude, I love being on the backside. You know, this is fun.
Well, let me tell you, it is a lot more fun for me being on the other end. Like it's all right. Listen, I love being the guy in the back doing all the shit because it's easy. It's less stressful.
I have to say, you've now been promoted to host of Live Free and Ham.
Having
Look out!
having
That
done,
podcast is going down fast.
We're gonna, there we go. All the work.
having done several of the Weekend Warrior episodes with Paul, I think all of them.
Yeah, all of them, Steven.
He is a lot different not having to do all of the background shit with all of his little quirky little sound effects from his little soundboard. And having you, Eric, take care of all of that for him has livened him up a little bit. So cheers to both of y'all. Live Free and Ham.
Live Free and Ham, Weekend Warriors, Flag and Torch. 100%. My channel wouldn't be what it is without the help of everybody. And so, thank you.
If you haven't
sounded like Dirty
subscribed,
Harry just then.
what the fuck are you waiting on? Subscribe. Hit that fucking button. And if you're not on Patreon for Paul and Eric for Live Free and Ham Patreon or N1OG Patreon, the fuck, douchebag? Get the fuck with it.
Yes.
I'll throw all
Attaboy,
those
Steven.
links there in the chat there so everybody has them at the tail end, and that way everybody can head over and hang out with us for sure. Grab all those.
Because they do send you email. The Live Free and Ham will send you emails for their Patreon to tell you stuff, and
We do?
N1OG Patreon will send you. I know because I get them.
I know I get spammed by Paul all the time, but yeah.
Yep. No, if you subscribe to the Patreon, you get not only early access to the Weekend Warriors podcast, but you also get the uncut, unedited version.
Don't talk about that shit. We say
No,
stupid
listen.
fucking shit on there. No.
It is,
You do
it is
not
a
want
gold
that.
mine. It is an absolute gold mine of the worst shit you could ever fucking possibly think of hearing. Russ is great. I love Russ. But Russ
is great. Robert's not.
loves to make misogynistic comments
So,
about how awful women are.
let me say, I am not military background, so I have no frame of reference whatsoever. But listening to Paul, two things: one, my dad's military, so he loves listening to your podcast. He talks about it all the time, and he's a retired vet, so he's been watching that and love listening to it. I love listening to it because it just changes my whole entire podcast playlist. It literally turns it on its ear, and then everyone's like, "I'm like, what the hell?" Oh, fine, whatever. I'll just keep listening to it.
What the fuck are you listening to?
It's great on my 2-mile hiking as I'm preparing for my soda, so all good stuff. So, yeah, keep it up, man. Awesome stuff.
Hey, and if you're in the chat and you happen to be a vet, and you haven't checked out the Weekend Warriors podcast, check it out. If you want to ever be a guest, hit me up.
Tony,
let me know. We'll gladly have you on.
Tony, shut the fuck up. You don't have any feelings.
Tony's being a smart ass in the chat, but it's all good. So Eric's dad, he actually called me up, I don't know, about 3 or 4 days ago. He's having some issues with the VA. There's a whole bunch of problems where, all right, for those that understand how the VA system works, okay, based on your location, it doesn't work. But based on your location, you're assigned a facility that is local to you, and that is your home of record facility. And poor Mr. Pfeiffer, the man lives in one state, and unfortunately, his VA medical is in that state, but his VA benefits, his VBA, is in another state. And it's like, well, why the fuck did the VA do that? Because that doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh, that's our government.
100%. But so, I spent some time on the phone with him. I pointed him in a couple directions, and hopefully it's going to work out for him, and he's going to get his records transferred so that everything is in his current home state. But what a giant fucking pain in the ass the VA is to deal with. So if you understand that, fucking props to you.
My appreciation to you for stepping up and helping out. He's definitely been very communicative on that part, saying how helpful you've been, and kind of giving him the encouragement to keep going forward. So from a bro to bro and part of the Ham family, keep it up, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. That's what we do. Like, veterans and military personnel, regardless of when we served, we all have a shared experience, and I love that Cody calls it shared trauma. Because that's the truth of it, right? That's the truth of it, is we all have this shared trauma. We've experienced military and combat and all the bullshit that goes along with it, and then coming home and trying to transition, and then trying to get the help you need for the physical and mental problems that are just with you post-service. And so, yeah, it's not easy, and the government definitely doesn't make it any easier, but we support each other, and that's what makes it better.
And that's the thing. Don't be afraid, one, as a veteran, to reach out to other veterans and call Paul up and say, how are you? How's your week been? And check in with him and make sure that he's okay, and have other people to check in on you, because we as veterans tend to internalize and try and carry everything on our back. Yeah, that doesn't work.
Nope.
So reach out and be honest to people when they reach out to you and say, how you doing?
100%.
Yep. And that's why, like, when it comes to the Weekend Warriors, like I said, I treat it as group therapy. So at the beginning of every episode, we check in with each other. We see how our week's going. We see how we're doing. And if I'm having a rough time, I'll be honest about it. I'll say, look, brothers, I'm struggling struggling. You know, the kid's driving me nuts. The wife's driving me nuts. Like I feel bad about myself. Like, I mean, these are the things that we live with, you know, and like, all right. So before the live stream tonight, I had it out with the wife because one of our chickens died. Now, hold on. Now,
Tomorrow's
why
dinner?
did one of our chickens die?
Tomorrow's dinner?
One of our chickens died. It was the rooster. So he was the protector of the hen house, but he died only because my 14-year-old son is a typical fucking teenager and he's lazy and he doesn't think of anybody but himself and he just wants to scroll through Facebook and he just wants to scroll on his phone and I'll say, "Hey, did you check on the chickens? Bud, how are the chickens today? Like, do the chickens lay any eggs? Do they have water? Do they have fresh hay in their nesting boxes? Like, how are the chickens?" And it'd be like, "Well, I'll go check on them later." Well, come to find out, he hadn't checked on the chickens in a couple days.
Ooh.
And so they didn't have food. They didn't have water. They weren't closed in at night. And temperatures recently have been below freezing at night. And so I don't think that the rooster starved to death or died of dehydration. I think he froze to death. And it was a problem that, you know, we had when we had turkeys, and it was time to harvest the turkeys, and my wife wasn't okay with killing them.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, thanks for coming, Sean. Much appreciated, buddy. But yeah, no, you know, shit happens. And so when the boy came in and he said, "Oh, the rooster's dead," I said, "Well, I hope that you feel guilty because it was your responsibility to take care of them and you didn't do your job because you were focused on the internet and building Christmas lists and all the other things. And at some point you have to put something above yourself, right?" And I mean, chickens are fucking helpless. Like, literally, they're helpless. If you don't take care of them, they're going to die. So, yeah, life lesson learned, hopefully for the boy. And, you know, hopefully he will do a little bit better job of making sure that the chickens have the attention they need. But, yeah, like, listen, we all struggle. Our day-to-day shit weighs on us in different ways. So if you're having a hard time with whatever it is, reach out to someone else.
Please.
Because we get it.
Don't do it alone, man.
We get it. So please reach out. And
Good deal.
also, while this is fun, don't abuse it.
Yeah.
Don't abuse it.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
As Stephen pounds it down.
Even if it's the light version.
All right, let's give away this backpack.
Okay. All right.
We haven't done that yet?
I thought we did. But yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did. We gave it to James.
Yeah, that's right.
CRS, my friend. CRS.
Let's
The
give
perks
Paul
of getting
away.
old.
And on
Get
that
Paul
bombshell,
Sorry, James. We're just giving your gift, your win, your giveaway away.
All right. Well, with that, let me say, hey, thank you for the 30 plus people that have watched and stuck with us and been a part of this.
No,
James
we're
is giving
sorry.
a flag away.
My stupidity. We weren't giving away the Explorer backpack. We were giving away the flag, my friend. So here's the flag.
I knew we were giving something away.
I was like, we already gave the backpack away. All right.
Never mind.
They're right. There we go. All right. Well, let's run this here.
Boom goes the cannon.
Thank God.
Boom.
Man, even N1OG's in this.
come on.
Hey, all right, Mike.
Nice job, Mike. All right. Well, Mike, if you could, there's a link at the very top of the chat there. Click that, fill out that form, and we will make sure we get James in touch with you to get you that Don't Tread on My Frequencies flag there. And appreciate James for donating that tonight. That's awesome.
Thank you,
and
James.
again, thanks for being part of N1OG's channel there, and just part of the whole ham community, man. James is everywhere. It's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do me a favor, head over to his website. If you haven't picked up stuff, you want to make sure you head over to his website. We'll put the link in the chat again there again. Go over and support him, because, when you support him, you support the ham community, and that's just awesome stuff. It just we're moving
Poor
the needle
kids
forward.
are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
And
they think he's a righteous dude.
All good.
And like a lot of us are really smart. I'm really smart.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
All right. So
Quirky
now
QLP.
that we've given the flag away.
Yep.
Right. Now we're out of things to give away.
Thank God.
So now I want to say thank you to everybody. This has been a ton of fun. I've really enjoyed myself. I appreciate 100% the 30 plus people that have watched us and hung out with us.
That's all you got?
It's been,
Holy fuck! You told me you were gonna have like 200.
yeah. Listen, hey, being a tenth of what I was hoping for is okay.
Shit. I got lied to.
Dude, you did
I
awesome.
appreciate. Eric, thank you for running all the giveaway stuff in the background. Thank you
Least
for
I could do,
doing
man.
all
Yes.
the hard work. Steven, thank you for being commentary and the great
Being me.
amusement that you are. Mike, thanks for contributing all the awesome content that you contribute. Because Mike,
Yeah. Go check
You're
out
awesome.
Mike's channel for sure.
Thank you.
Support Mike and give him some love. He does some awesome stuff over there.
and yes, Joe Brett, freaking everybody in the chat, thank you so much. This has been a ton of fun.
If thank you to the 22 of you that stuck around, because you have no fucking life.
I wish that I had set up a Grouch anthem to bring us out, but there isn't one. Well, I mean, there is one, but it's just not ready. So,
Dude, you need to post a
All in
link
due-
somewhere
all
on
in
your
due time.
channel with the audio just for that entire intro. That was well worth it.
That
If you
intro
missed
was
it,
pretty fucking sick.
Yeah.
if you missed it, he wrote an AI version of N1OG's channel. You got to go over there and listen to it. It's good
Yes.
stuff. I was
That
impressed
was
I'll
with it.
good.
post it up. I'll post it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
You know, that means
7-3
you've
all.
got to come up one for Flag and Torch.
Well, all
not
right.
before he
Flag
does
and
Live
Torch
Free and
and
Ham.
Live
But
Free
anyway, and Northeast Ham Radio too as well. So you got a bucket list of crap to get done before you get to Flag and Torch.
You fucked yourself.
All right.
man.
We'll get there. Go to Josh's
good deal.
stream. Support the
Yep.
teachers.
Yep.
Thank you all so much. Love you. See you on the next one.
7-3.